What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am so excited you are here. We're gonna learn together. This is the Tarver Academy Summer Professional Development. We're gonna learn. Learning's happening. It's going down today. We're about to get started. My name is Tyler. I run Tarver Academy. It's an online resource for teachers and students and educators, and it's a great community where people just get involved and learn and get better. And I throw resources to you guys, throw ideas around. It's just a lot of fun. Just a whole lot of fun, Tarver Academy. So if you need anything, I'm here. TarverAcademy.com has a ton of resources and things that you can go to check out. A little bit about me, just so you know, you don't think I'm just like, hey, here's a random YouTuber talking about, videos or whatever. My name's Tyler. I started out teaching high school math, and then I moved into a tech director / facilitator role. Then I was a principal of a school, 6th through 12th grade. 6th through 12th grade. Fun ages. That's good stuff, okay? Good stuff. Never any drama, 6th through 12th grade. No drama. And our school had waivers from the state, so we did a lot of online, we did a lot of blended, we did a lot of in-person learning, all the above. So we get to learn a lot, make some mistakes, do some stuff right, and try to learn from everything we did. Then after that, I went to central office, and I was director of curriculum instruction, and now I'm the dean of NLC College. And I'm so excited to be here, learning and growing with you guys. I'm also giving a little bit of time for people to jump in, get started, and we're about to go through some of the housekeeping stuff. We're gonna do a little check-in right now at the beginning, and then at the end of this video, at the end of this training, we're going to have a chance for you to get a certificate showing that you actually showed up and you did the learning, okay? I think that this training and the other trainings that you are gonna get the chance to be a part of this summer are gonna help you grow as an educator. And if you grow as an educator, all it does is help the students and the community that you live in. And so let's try our best to learn something, take something away from this that we can put in our repertoire and get better with. Okay, so the first thing I need you guys to do is I need us to check in, okay? And this check-in, what it does is it timestamps when you are here so that you might not need this later, but if your administrator or whoever comes back and they're like, how do I know you didn't just click to the end? This shows that you were here at the beginning. So you can scan the QR code that is on the screen if you have your cell phone. And on my phone with me, get your phone out. I'll use my wallet, Atlanta Braves wallet. Film that, you just hold your phone over that QR code that you see on the screen. You'll see something pop up at the top. Click that and it'll take you to where you can fill out that you were here. It's very short, very quick. I'm gonna give you a little bit of time to do that right now. Go ahead, scan the QR code, go to the website, check in, and when you do that, you will get an email. If you do not get an email immediately, this happened, I told you, I was a tech director for a long time, okay? I'd say a long time. I was a tech director long enough to know that if you don't get that email that you're filling out right now, it's because you typed your email address in wrong. That's exactly what happens. 19 times out of 19 and a half times, that's what happens. So go ahead and go to that. Remember, at the end of this session, there's gonna be another QR code that you're gonna scan that is going to give you the certification saying that you actually did the training. Both of these are time-stamped. So if your administrator or whoever's in charge of PD for your district wants to see that and be like, how do I know you did this? You've got your check-in email that is time-stamped by me, not by you. It's into a PDF or it's into that email. And then you will also have the timestamp on your certificate showing that you did this. Okay, so hopefully everybody is getting that done. Okay, giving you a little bit of time. If you have any trouble, just keep trying because I think it's pretty important to get that logged in. Now, while we're doing that, if you're finishing that up, or if you can hear me, what I would love for you to do is I would love for you to hit the red subscribe button. This is my YouTube channel, Tarver Academy. That's what I call it. It's kind of where I got this started. I had this before I had the website, and then I put up the website to put all the resources and all the stuff I was doing. But if you would hit the red subscribe button right now, that would be huge. That would be just super cool of you. And that way, you can hopefully see some of the other trainings that I'm doing, see some videos I do throughout the year to help teachers, to help students, to have fun and learn together. So hit that red subscribe button. Did you do it? Did you? You get the like too, the little thumbs up. That's just YouTube etiquette. You hit the thumbs up. It's just really nice to do. So you want to hit the thumbs up button, you can. And I would love to start this. How about this? in the chat, okay? Because if you're watching this on my website, which is where you can watch it, that's fine. You're not gonna see the chat, but if you click and watch this on YouTube, you're gonna see a chat rolling on the side of the screen. Start it off. I want you guys in the chat to say who you are, like give your name, tell us what you teach and where you teach, okay? If you're an administrator, you can say that I'm a principal, or you can say your central office, whatever you do. I've got some people that have signed up for this that are aspiring educators. So this is great to say, I wanna be an educator, I wanna be an English teacher for high school, throw that in there. If you wanna be a kindergarten teacher, toss that in there, say you're in school. It's a great way to network, because I think there is an amazing community of educators here wanting to learn and grow together. And I think that it's great if we look out for each other. So throw in the chat, I want you to say your name, what you teach, and where you teach. Throw that in the chat. All right, man, we're doing good. We're doing good. It's our warm up. We're feeling good. We're stretching it out. It's always good to stretch before you stretch. I don't know, I heard some friends say that, so I say it from time to time. Okay, next thing. This is another little thing. I've got one right here. So I've written a couple books. I've done Superheroes Need Sleep Too. This is a children's book. It's like a nap time book, so you don't have to read that. But this one I think is super relevant for you. This is the Baller Teacher Playbook, and in it I have like practical advice. It's 18 chapters. So the idea is that you could do this like once a week with your team for a full semester, or every other week for a year, and try to improve your teaching every week. I'm not doing this to sell it to you. I'm doing this to say I'm giving some of these away all summer to people that are participating in this. So if you want a chance to win one of these, or I think I probably got some other educator books. If you're like, I don't really want your book, Tyler, I got a ton of educator books. I'll send them to you. All you got to do, follow me on Instagram at Tyler Tarver. Follow me at Tyler Tarver on Instagram, and I'm gonna be giving these out throughout the summer. You might be the person I give it to. So follow me on Instagram, and then throw something in your Instagram story if you want, just to increase your chances of me seeing it. So I'm just gonna be clicking through. I see people follow on Instagram. I'm gonna throw out stuff to them. So random people will get it. You might not, but you won't if you don't. So there we go. Y'all feeling good? Does everybody feel good? Everybody throw in the chat who they are, where they teach, what they teach. Okay, so to explain also what this is, you are watching, this is a live broadcast. So this is going as a YouTube premiere or a full-on live video. So one of the two. Either way, that chat is happening live. Everybody that jumps into this video at any point is gonna be watching it at the same time as you. So it's great to get in the chat and talk, discuss, ask questions, give input. If we ask a question in the video, you can type it in your notes, but you can also type it in the chat. You can copy paste from the chat. It's a great way for you to be a part of this live broadcast, okay? So if you have a Google Notes, if you have a notes document, if you wanna take notes by hand, I've got a template for notes if you want. It sent it to you whenever you filled out your email. It should have been on that page whenever you did your check-in at the beginning. If not, it's on like every PD page. I have my website, tarveracademy.com. Click on PD and you get a free notes template, or you can take notes in your own doc. However you want to do it, take notes, write down stuff that's relevant to you, and copy paste stuff that people put in the chat. There's gonna be people in the chat that are way smarter than me. And so I'd love for you to copy paste that into the notes, and you can take that and make your teaching game elevate. So next thing, while we're getting logged in, people are still jumping in here. They're still jumping in the video, giving you a few minutes to do that. We're also, if you want to watch these videos, because after this ends, it's going to be gone off of here. However, I'm going to be putting all of these trainings, all like 30 something trainings. I think it's over like 120 hours worth of trainings. I'm putting all of that for people that join what I call the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. It's a small group of educators who are trying to get better every week, and I send out weekly emails during the school year to where you're getting templates, you're getting resources, back to school starter kits, you're getting templates for Google Forms, trainings, PDs, tons of stuff every single week delivered to your inbox. And also you have access to all of these trainings. That is available if you go to tarveracademy.com/honor roll if you want to. I think it's a great decision. I think it's a great decision. Nobody's in here. Who am I talking to? I'm not talking to anybody. Okay, y'all feel good? Y'all ready to start? Y'all feel good? This is a little warm up. We'll explain what's going on. Everybody feel good? 1 to 10. Put in the chat how you feel today. Or give me this, how about this? Give me an emoji of how you're feeling today. That'd be better, 1 to 10, or give me an emoji. I'd love to see it. Or just give me a word. You're like, I don't want to do an emoji. Give me a word. How you feeling today? And let's get rolling. Remember, input in the chat, take notes, learn, grow. Welcome to the best professional development that you're gonna do. Not guaranteed, but it's an opinion, but it's also true, but it might be biased, but it's gonna be a great summer. It's gonna be a great training. Hope you guys learn something. Hope this adds you value that you can then bring to your students and make your school, your community, yourself better in some way. Guys, we're about to get started. Y'all excited? Y'all ready? We're about to do this. Let's get ready to learn and have fun. Tarver Academy. Let's go. Let's go. Hit it. Let's go. Hey guys, I'm so excited you're doing this. We're gonna start off with a full settings walkthrough. I'm talking, this is beginner, so if you're like, this is pretty basic, that's fine. You can stick, maybe you'll learn some stuff. We've got some templates we're gonna go through later. But if this is super basic for you, you might wanna go to the intermediate, or you can go to both. Learn and learn. So this first one's a full settings walkthrough where I'm gonna go through every single setting whenever you are setting up a Google form. Do not skip past this, don't bypass this. I'm gonna explain how important it is in the video, but I just want you to go through this with me, pull up a Google form and walk through it with me. Go through this with me. You try to have 2 screens, set it up to where you can do both, okay? Let's get it. First section, let's do this. Here we go. What is up? I like this. What is up? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a Google Forms full settings walkthrough. Google Forms, as you know, is the GOAT when it comes to programs for educators and education. It's not just a survey situation, great for surveys, but it also can be great for assessments, feedback, full lessons can be through there. There are a countless number of things that you can do with Google Forms to help curate your class. And so with this session, I want to show you how to walk through all of the settings. Now, I feel comfortable with Google Forms. I've been using them for years. I love Google Forms, use them all the time, okay? I feel like I'm fairly proficient when it comes to Google Forms. However, every time I create a Google form, before I send it out, I go through and check my settings. So I want to walk you through every single one of the settings so that you feel comfortable knowing what all of them are. And then you can come back here and view this at any time if you want to. So here we go. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm in my Google Drive, and let's minimize me and maximize my screen. A lot of people don't know this, but I have just this amazing voice, and you know that from just hearing it right now. It's okay. It's okay to be impressed, guys. You don't have to clap. Your applause is not needed. It's welcome. It's needed, but it's not needed. Okay, so let's hit this new up here in the upper left-hand corner, and then we're going to go down to Google Forms. Wah, wah. See that? It used to not be up here, but then it's like Google finally realized, oh, wow, we got the goat hanging out under more. No, goats don't hide. Goats thrive. Wow, not great. Okay, so we've got a blank Google form. Okay, now I'm going to kind of show you real quick my process, but then we're just going to go across the top. Like everything up here from left to right is what we're going to cover from here all the way over. All right, now keep in mind, hover is your friend. If you hover over any of this, see this? If I hover, Forms Home, that's going to take me to Google Forms Home. Anything you want to know about, if you hover over it, it's going to tell you what that is. Like this, I know that's a star. It doesn't need to tell me it's a star, but it's telling me I'm starring this. Here we go. Up here, I'm literally going across the entire top for this session. That's all I want to cover in this, so stay with me. Here we go. And first thing, let's do this. In the chat, in the comments, as you're watching this, go ahead and tell me what is the #1 thing you use Google Forms for. So in the chat, in your notes, write down what you currently use it for a majority of the time. Is it quizzes? Is it full-on tests? Is it surveys? Is it just getting student information? What do you use it for? Tell me in the chat right now. Okay, so upper left-hand corner, we're at Forms Home. If I click this, it's going to take me back to my Google Forms Home. Now, a lot of people mix this up with Google Drive. Forms, docs, sheets, slides, they all have these locations that are specific to their program. Now, if you look over here at this little waffle, see that? This is the place you usually go to get to those specific locations. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I never go to the Google Forms home or the Docs home or the Sheets home or the Slides home. I don't ever go there. I go to my Google Drive, drive.google.com. That's where I go if I want to do anything with any Google program, because that allows me to organize it better. Now, let's say you have a bunch of templates or you want to utilize some of this template gallery, then go to those home pages. Personally, I don't. I make my form that I like with my header and all the stuff in my settings, and then I just take that form and I make a copy of it, but we're not in that. So you've seen what to do to get to Google Forms home. We click this Google form in the upper right. Next one, untitled form. How many of you guys have just a plethora of untitled forms in, like, just chilling in your Google Drive? They need to be titled. You can't find what you want. Always title your docs, your forms, your sheets, your slides as soon as you get them. That way you can find them later. I'm going to show you a little shortcut. You can go here to the header, and I can type this in. I can call it Google Forms Beginner Session. Watch what happens when I hit enter. Look in the upper left-hand corner. Y'all ready? Oh, I didn't hit enter. I click on the next thing. All I have to do is click up here. Y'all ready? It turns it in. It's going to pull from the header. So after I type my header up, that's most of the work. I could just click where it says untitled form. Now, I can change it later if I need to, but it is good to go right there. Now, once I did that, did you notice what popped up? You see that folder? As soon as I add anything to this, anything at all to my Google form, what that's going to do is that is going to say, okay, this is a real form. This is not just something he created new and then never did anything with, because if I didn't do it, it would make it disappear because I had nothing on it. It was pretty much a blank form. As soon as I added something, it created this folder. Now, whatever folder I was in when I created this, like let's say I went in and I was under my resources tab and I was in this, I don't know, forms folder right here. If I create a new form right here, it's going to automatically put it in this folder that I was in. However, I wasn't. Do y'all remember where I was? 10 points if you get it right in the chat. Where was I when I started it? I was just chilling on my drive. So that just throws it into this drive, and it's not an organization, in any type of organization. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here, and I can sort this into a folder in my drive right now. So I always recommend to people, as soon as you start it, sort it. It is going to be so much easier for you to find it. Okay, so I click that folder. I don't have to bounce over to Drive. It's going to allow me to sort it right here. So I can go over and say, I want to put this in resources, and then I'm going to put it under forms, and put it right here. Move here. Now, I could have created a folder inside there if I wanted. I'm going to hit move. Bam. I've sorted it. Okay, we're still working our way across. We're on the start. If I do this, that is now saying this is important. This is something that I want to find later. So if maybe I search my Google Drive for something, Google is going to filter this towards the top of that list. It's going to think it's important to me because I hit that star. Also, if I'm in my Google Drive, I can go to the left side under starred, bam, it's going to pop up in this list. Now, granted, I have like multiple things in there, but now it's there. See it right there? Bam, 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 bam. That's from, what does that show? The Flintstones. Hey, the Flintstones. Okay, excellent. So we're still going. All changes saved in Drive. We're going to keep rolling over. Now, it's showing me, I can hover over. I can see the last edit that I made going through there. I'm moving over to this. This is my add-ons. It looks like a puzzle piece. And when in my mind, how do I remember that? Whenever I'm using something with Google, these puzzle pieces help complete Google. Google in itself is a robust, incredible system with all of their programs. Add-ons, what those do is that extends the world. It's like iPhones are great. The apps make it as valuable as it is. So add-ons, I'm going to click here. I've only got 2 add-ons on here. I've got Doc Appender, and that's where I can like throw things into Google Docs from a form. It's really cool. And then I've got extended forms. Honestly, I don't even remember what this is. I bet it's really good or I wouldn't have downloaded it. What is extended forms? I don't even know. I bet it was good. Any add-ons you do, this is how you get to them. If I wanted to initiate either of these, I would click that and then go to that program. Next one, this I call it the Bob Ross. I got my little Bob Ross painter thing. Don't worry about that little guy. We're just gonna put that little tree right there. We're gonna click on this. This is where you can customize your theme. So I can click here, and now I'm gonna roll through all of these. Okay, so I can choose a theme color. So I can choose the colors here and just do a simple change of color, or I can choose my image. I can select from their set of themes. Say I want to hoop it up, Baller Teacher Playbook, whatever. I can click that and hit insert. It's going to add that photo to the top. What I always recommend to people is go to Canva, bit.ly/Tarver Canva. What's up? I'll actually toss that on the screen. Watch this. Check this. Check this. In the chat, let me know, are you on Canva? And if not, you better give me a good reason why not. Okay, so bit.ly/Tarver Canva. Sign up for an account. They're incredible. You can make a Google Forms header, and we're going to go, like, it's automatically picking the theme color based on what I chose. You see that? So beautiful. Now, let's X this. This is how I get rid of it. So I create a ton of Google Forms that are templates for teachers and students and parents or whoever to use. And I always put my Tarver Academy one up there. People, every now and then, they'll be like, how do I take your picture off there? I'm like, well, first off, that hurts. Why you hurt my heart like that? But, you know, I get it. This is how you do. You hit that little X right here, and it's gone now because I'm an image. But let's click this. Let's say I want to add an image. I can upload it directly if I have it, or I can search my photos. Search Tarver Academy. Okay, clicking that. Here we go. Here we go. Where you at, little buddy? Okay, let's say Tarver Academy. I think I have a picture in here I would want to use. Where are you at? Look at all these photos. Hope there's nothing crazy. I don't think I have anything crazy. Here we go. Let's say I want to use this. Bam. I can click on it, click insert. Now I can resize it, put it where I want. Let's put it like right there. Look how beautiful that is. Hit done. I would recommend go to Canva at that link, create one, save it, title it however you want to find it later, and then use that as your header for all of your classes. It adds a really cool element of ownership for your classes and shows that it's yours, okay? I can change the theme color up. Let's make it look, ooh, that's so pretty. That's so pretty. Let's see. Let's go here. Okay, that's pretty fun. Background color I can choose. Oh my goodness, look at all these options. Okay, now I'm gonna roll down here, and the last one is I can choose my font style. Wow, time to get crazy, guys. You got basic, you got decorative, you got formal, and I got playful. Playful, that reminds me of that, not kids. What was it? Comic Sans, maybe? A little very Comic Sans-y. Marker. Is that it? Marker? In the comment. How about this? In your notes or in the comments, in the chat, let me know, what is your favorite go-to font? Mine is a font called Brandon Grotesque, but I am becoming very kind of partial towards Knockout because that's what my designer, Stephen Overturf, used on the cover of my book, Baller Teacher Playbook. Hey, always plug. Okay, so let's choose. I could choose formal. I think decorative is it's very cursive-y. It's very fancy. I'm feeling fancy. I'm just going to go basic. I'm a basic guy. I'm a basic fella. So I'm just going to click that, and then we're going to roll over. That's the end of these. I've added my theme option, so I can click this X to get rid of it. It's not going to delete them. It's just going to change that. Okay, so we've done add-ons. We've done our palette. Now, this one I use a lot. This is the one I use the most. This is your preview. This is how you can actually go look at what your form looks like for your user, for your student, for whoever's using it. I click on this. It creates a new tab, and this is what it looks like right now. This is great if anytime you're like, hey, I'm working on this Google form. You know what? I want to see what it looks like. Hit the eyeball. Bam. Preview. You can look at it. Another thing you can do is this is how you can share it with your students. Instead of going to send and then choosing who to send it to, you could go into this, grab this link, copy it, and then toss it in an email and be like, hey, do this. Do this. And then you can toss that link in there. Okay, it's just an easier way to grab that link. Preview links work fine. Now, here's what you're going to see is the difference between what you see when you do preview link and what others see. You ready? If I'm the student, I can't edit this form. When you send it to me, it looks like a traditional form. This is the only difference to know that you are the owner or you have access to that form. In the bottom right-hand corner, y'all see this? See, I can't. It won't let me zoom in. The bottom right-hand corner. Do y'all see this? This little pin? That is editor view. So if you're ever in a Google form and you are allowed to edit that form, you can click here and it'll take you back to the editor view to where you can edit and change it, okay? They actually call it collaborators on Google Forms. I don't know why. Nobody knows. I mean, somebody probably knows. In the comments, in the chat, in your notes, tell me, what do you think they use collaborator for? What is your favorite collaboration? That's a better question. Who is your favorite collaboration? Mine's probably Childish Gambino and Chance the Rapper. If you don't know who those are, that's okay. Totally cool. Okay, so tell me your favorite collaboration. There was a meme going around a long time on the internet. It's like the best. It's like when Marvel paired up all the people. It's like name a better collaboration or name a better. If I'm forgetting it, tell me. I know somebody knows. Tell me in the chat, in the comments, what that is. Okay. So we're still going across. We hit preview. Now we're on settings. Now there's 3 options within these settings. So I'm going to click this. Bam. Okay. So in here, now I'm rolling through. I check these settings every single time I go in and do any sort of form. Before I send it out, I always check these because if not, you are signing up to receive 30 to 2,000 emails saying, I don't have access, or I can't access it, or what is this? Always check these settings, okay? I'm going to go in here. I always like to collect email addresses automatically. And here's why. The reason is because nobody is good at typing their email address in. And then if you have it like send read receipts, or if it auto replies, or if you ever need to use anything to contact this person again, you will not be able to because they've typed their email in wrong. And now you've got to go in and fix them not being able to type. This guarantee, it automatically pulls their email from what account they are logged into. Okay. Now there's an option here, and you can't see it because I'm not in a school account, but there's an option here usually when you're in a school account that says, it says something restrict to organization users. If you're an educator, you want to turn this on if you're sending it to your students. The reason is a lot of times students are signed into like their personal account, and they'll be like, oh, I'm signed on my personal account. And you'll get like, you know, I don't know, like a cat baseball player 88@gmail.com, or even worse at yahoo.com. I'm just kidding. But seriously, if you have a Yahoo account, get a Gmail. They're better. So restrict it to people in your organization. And then when you get the question, hey, I don't have access to it, it's because they're not logged into the correct account. That's it every single time. Now, if I'm sending this out to parents, I'm not going to restrict it to my organization because the parents don't work for my organization. They don't have email addresses for my organization. This right here is response receipts. I like to turn this on. If it's a test you don't want to, or a quiz, because then the student now has access to all of their answers and they can just forward it to their buddy and their buddy is going to ace the test. You don't want that. But if it's like somebody submitting something or they're signing up for something, people like to know that it went through. And a lot of times they'll just email you and be like, hey, how do I know if I did this right? I don't know if I did. They'll fill it out 2 or 3 times. I always have it just send it an email automatically, unless it's a test or a quiz. Okay, so you can turn that off or on. Anytime you see this question mark, you can hover over that and it'll tell you exactly what that thing does. So let's leave it off. Actually, let's turn it on always. Now, it requires a sign in to do this next one, which we have it turned on. So like if I turn this off, watch, that probably goes away. Oh, no, wait, see? Respondents will be required to sign into Google. So either way, they're going to have to give you an email address. I go ahead and knock them both on there. But this right here, this means that I can limit it to 1 response. This is for tests, quizzes. I don't want people taking it 4 or 5 times. However, if it's something I'm going to put in multiple times, or it's okay for them to put in multiple times, I'm going to take this off. That's up to you. Literally every time I create a form, I go through and hit all of these check boxes and see if they apply to me. Respondents can edit after they submit. If I have this generated into something, or if it's a quiz or a test, I'm not going to put this on here. If it is, let's say it's, hey, fill in your parents' contact information for the start of the year, I might turn it on, because if it changes, the parents can go in and change it in the form, and then that changes it in my results in my spreadsheet. See summary charts and text responses. I accidentally had this turned on one time when I was the project manager for our district, and I had all of my teachers, my mentor teachers and novice teachers. They were filling out forms, and I accidentally had this on, and it showed like the summary of chart of responses from it for like 2 seconds, and I changed it, but they can see it. This is if you're doing like a survey and you want to be transparent. You can show this so that people can see it as it goes. I very seldom have this turned on, but you may want to. All right. I would hit save if I'm done, but I'm not done yet. I want to go to presentation. This is, how does it look? How do people see it? I like showing progress bar. This only matters if you have multiple sections, which we're going to talk about in a later training. But if you have multiple sections of it to where it goes to the next page, go to the next page, then turn this on. If it's all in one thing, so it's like there's bam, 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 submit. You don't really have to turn on a progress bar because it's like you're done after the first click. But that's how they divide out how many pages it is. If you're filling out like an application, a job application, a lot of times it's multiple pages. People want to see how much they have left, and that helps encourage them to finish. So it's a good one to have on if it's multiple pages. Shuffle question order. I'm going to tell you a warning on this one, guys. So listen, if you have all of your questions for a test and they're all, in there, it's okay to shuffle up where the questions are, okay? But keep in mind, if you write question 1, question 2, question 3, it's going to shuffle that too, okay? So your numbers will get mixed up. And this is where I've seen some frustration. One of my facilitators one time, she was learning some Google stuff, and she wanted to do like a math, what do you know? Math not a remediation, but like a check-in form. And she went to send it out, and she looked at it first, and she was really frustrated because she put a picture up and she had like 3 questions that referred to that picture. And it was like shuffling everything about. It's because this box was checked. And when it did that, it shuffled her photo and the questions. So it's like, refer to the, photo above for this. There's no photo above because it shoved the photo down here at the bottom. If you have any of those where it's like not attached, but you want it to be like, it needs to be attached to the one above it, make sure this is off, okay? Now, if everything is like compartmentalized in its own questions, it's probably a good idea to shuffle the questions. And you don't really have to number them because, the way technology works, it's just going to sort it into the same columns for you afterwards. And then show link to submit another response. If it's a test or quiz, I don't want to show this. But if it is like, say I've got a computer out on a desk at open house and parents are coming in and they're filling in the information, I want to have this link to submit another response. That way the next person can just come in and click the link. Here's a little hack. This is the confirmation message. The default is your response has been recorded. Let's pretend this is a Chromebook. Parents are filling out a parent information form. And as soon as they get done, they hit submit. It's going to show this screen. It's going to say, thank you for submitting your information. Please click the link on this page. Click the link on this page to fill out a new form. You can give instructions here for parents to go in and do that. So it's like the next parent comes in, they see it, and they're like, oh, what is this? Read it. Oh, and I'll click the link. Also, you can put links in here. So I can say, get more resources, or, get more resources at, I always put the HTTP. I think you need to, if you're going to put in a link here, .com/resources. I can say tarveracademy.com. So whenever they hit submit, this can be a link that goes to, hey, here's your next assignment. If you do a quiz for students, you could say, hey, after you finish this, great, go to your Google Classroom and follow up on any assignments you haven't submitted. And you can tell them to go do that later. Or you can say, hey, go here to this website and read 2 chapters. You can give next steps for students, parents, teachers, whoever's reading this next. You can give next steps right here on that page. Okay, last one. You ready? We're on the last of the settings. We hit quizzes. Default for these Google Forms is that it is not a quiz. It has no quizzing value on it. To unlock all of those beautiful quiz options, you turn this on. Now this has become a quiz. There will be grading. There will be feedback options. All those things are now in here because I turned this on. Now let's work our way down the quiz options. Now, this is one to think about. Based on, like, if you're giving this assignment to students, you need to think through, what do I want students to be able to do with, with this information? Immediately after each submission, if I'm doing a quiz or a test and I have this turned on and students go in and they click it and they take the test, I didn't give red receipts, any of that, but I let them see their grade immediately, they're going to know, oh, I didn't do well. And they can tell people. Another thing to think, let's say you have 10 multiple choice and that all auto grades, but then they have one essay. I would not let them see their grade immediately, because they might do great on the multiple choice, think they got 100, and then you go back and you grade their essay and they tanked it. And now you got to go back and be like, oh, just kidding, you didn't get an A, you got a D. Nobody wants to hear that. So if there's more to grade, or if you want to wait till all of your tests get submitted, you can go later after manual review. Now, let's say it is multiple choice and you're okay with students seeing their grade right after. Turn that thing on. Just think through, when do I want my students to see this, and what do I have in here before I let them see their grades? Now, this is the key. You can release the grade. Like, oh, I got an 85. Cool. That doesn't really give away a ton. This is where students can cheat, show their friends, whatever. This can lead to some academic discrepancies, if you will. So go here, missed questions. Do I want students to be able to see what questions they missed? It's a great question. If they're taking this first period and I have all these turned on so they can see missed questions, they see correct answers, and they see point values, they're going to be able to forward those results to the other classes. Even at the end of day one, even if you're like, no, I'm going to leave it off. As soon as you return all this stuff, they're going to be able to share with students that missed that day and are making up the test or the quiz. I'm not saying any of our students they would never, ever, ever do that. However, they could if they wanted to. So a lot of times you can turn this off, and turn this off, unless you hold everything for manual review, give it a couple of days, and then you can send all of it back at once. They'll see feedback. They'll see missed answers. They can see all of it, which I know is great for parents that want to check in and make sure they understand what their child's doing and how they're doing. Okay, we hit save. It's going to save all three of these. Most everything in Google saves automatically. This one likes for you to hit save. So I'm going to hit save. And now I'm going to have the capability. You see up in the upper right now, it says total points, 4 points. So that's how many points I have thus far in this document. Okay, we're almost done. We're going to send. Moving over to the purple, we're on send. This is where you share. Now, this can be confusing because when you share a Google Doc, when you hit share, it's a little bit different. Docs, sheets, and slides, when you hit share, you're adding them as view or editing or comment access. When you hit this, you are sending it as a form for people to fill it out. When I send it, if I sent this to my friend Matt Baxley, my boy, nope, M is Baxley M. Okay, I want to send it to my boy Matt. Now, when he gets this, it is going to be a form he is filling out. He is not an editor. He is not a collaborator. He cannot change this form. He is the student of this form. I can change the subject of the email. And then it's right now, if I sent this, it's going to be an email. Let's just do this. I can actually add myself in here so we can go and look at it. Okay. I invite you to fill out a form. I can include the form in the email. Okay. Now, this is also a place where I can add collaborators. Honestly, I bet Google added this part so that it clarified, oh, I'm not sharing this with people, because it is in my head. I'm like, hope I don't share this editing access with these students. No, they're wanting you to send this to your students. You can add collaborators here. There's another place to do it. I didn't mean to do that right there. I'm sorry. It ruins everything. Hit send. We're going to send it to me. Send it to that. I can send it to the whole class. If you have like a short link for your class, you can share it there. I recommend putting it in your LMS. Give it a hub. You can do both. If you have like a parent email group, this would be a great place to send it to. And I can include the form in the email. If you don't click that, it's just going to say, I've invited you to fill out a form. And it's going to have like a box they click and it takes them over to it. Let me tell you, give me a little hint on this. Let's say I want to send a survey out to parents. Okay. And this has happened to me, sending stuff out to teachers. If I include the form in the email, yes, it's convenient. They can just go through and click it and then hit submit. However, it never fails. I have like a grammatical error, and there's always like a teacher that's like your grammar police, like unofficial grammar police. When I send it out and it's included in the email, and then a teacher comes back and be like, you used the wrong there, or you misspelled this, or what about this question? If you send that out, it's sent. It's like a PDF. It's like they're going to see what you sent originally. This is something I learned through experience, through failed experience, if you will. I like to not include the form in the email, and that way they get a button. So if that first teacher that's always on my email and gets back, it's like, you need to add a question about this, or you need to change this, you need to do this. Yeah. Whenever you do that, whenever you send that out, they're going to click the box. It'll take them to the form. If I change something after I send it out, if they have to click on it to go to the form, then it's going to be changed and updated automatically. Does that make sense? I'm going to say this better because I don't feel like I said that well. If I leave this box not checked, I can change this form at any time. And then when they click that box, they're going to see the updated form. If I click this box, they're going to see the Google form as I created it right now. So this unchecked gives you the option to change your form without having to resend emails. It'll click the box and go to it. Now, if they click the box and they fill out the form before you change it, they're only going to see what they saw whenever they clicked it the first time. I can click this and grab the link. Remember earlier when we clicked preview and grab the link? I can do the same thing here. I can take the long link or I can click shorten. Honestly, Google, I have a question. Why don't you just give me the short URL? Why do I have to go and shorten this thing? Why can't I just use the long URL or the short URL immediately? Like, I don't know why they give me two options. I don't know. If anybody, tell me, give me your best guess in the comments, in your notes. Why don't they just do the short link? Just tell me. There's got to be a theory out there. I could also click this and I can embed this Google form on a website. Go to Google Sites. I can embed this anywhere that I want. I can share it to Facebook. I can share it to Twitter. You have options. Okay. Now, keep in mind this. If you limit it to people in your organization and then you go throw it on Twitter, people aren't going to have access. You need to have open access. Sometimes it might not let people even access the form if they're not logged into their Gmail. So keep that in mind as well. I'm going to hit send. I'm sending it to myself. And then we're going to go take a look at it here in a second and see what that looked like. Actually, oh man, it's scary. Check my second do fast. Bam. Okay. This is what it looks like. I would click here, fill out the form. Remember, I can change it at any point and then they'll see the updated form. That's why I like sending it out like that. All right, now we're on to the ant with no legs. This is where you go to more. This is the second to last setting. Undo. That's a way if you type something in or you did something and you're like, oh no, I need to fix that. Click this, undo. I use Command Z because I use a Mac and that's my undo. If you have a Chromebook or a Windows computer, you can hit Control Z and it'll undo that. Make a copy. So like if I have, let's say I go here and then I go to make a copy. I'm making a copy of this entire Google form. So I told you guys earlier, once you create like a template for like a lesson or a quiz or test, don't start from scratch every single time you do it. You've got all your settings. You've got everything set up. You've got your background. It's looking gorgeous. Go up here, hit make a copy, and then just make it like change the lesson, then go in and change all the test questions. Don't start from scratch whenever you're creating these Google forms. Okay. Next, move to trash. You want to delete this thing, go for it. That's how you do it. Get pre-filled link. You click this. What? I don't even know what this is. Oh, I could pre-fill the responses and then say get link. So I could type in a couple things, like say you want to send it up to one group at a time. You can go in and pre-fill some stuff for them. That way they know, or you could fill that out automatically and then let them fill in the last pieces as well. So that's pretty cool. I've never honestly used that, but that seems like it'd be pretty useful for people, especially if they need to segment out the groups, but they want everything to funnel into the same Google form. Okay. I can hit print. This way I could print out this Google form if I wanted to. I mean, sometimes you just make a Google form and you're like, I need this to look good. If you wanted to have paper copies of something, say you're doing, look at this. This looks pretty good. And what they do is they take the color out of it so that it's just a piece of paper. And then you can send this out to parents. Say you're doing like people are registering for classes. You've got it built in a Google form. You could go ahead and do this, print it out. People could do it by hand, have a paper option. So that's pretty cool. You could also save that as a PDF and then use it later. This, we talked about adding collaborators. This is the other place to add collaborators. I can go to send, add collaborators. Remember, this is a spot where I want to add people that can edit my document, okay? I can edit my document. I can go in, I can choose access for different people. I can make them the owner. I can make them the editor. I can change it. Anyone on the internet can view the link. I can change this. These are where my options are with regards to who can view this. If I was signed into a school account, I could say that's going to give me one more option, which will be restricted, anyone with a link, and then my school account will say restrict to people in this network. So that's a safeguard against people getting it from anywhere. So that's what that is. Hey, fun fact, my buddy Zach Knapp, he gave me a great tip of something that he does with pre and post tests. He'll create the pre-test, and then whenever he's ready for the post test, he'll go in, click this, make a copy, title it the exact same thing, and then put post test. That way you can compare from the original time they took it, take the exact same test, and make it that post test. Thank you, Zach, for that info. That's solid advice. Zach is the man. Go to script editor. I've never used this, but this is where you would go in and you could edit script on it. A lot of people that look at doing stuff with add-ons or really developing this, they would go into this app script to do some stuff. I'll tell you this, it's way above my mental capacity at this moment. But if you know anybody in the comments, if you know anybody that's good at app script or ways that you've used app script, let us know in the comments in the chat or in your notes if that's interesting to you. Maybe look at Googling that, finding some sources that do that. Add-ons, this is, we've got the add-on spot here, or I can go here to add-ons. Sorry. And then I can go in and find add-ons. If you don't have any add-ons for Google, Autocrat is great. It's going to pop up these are the ones that are most popular. I know my friend Leanne uses Certify.em, gives like a certificate. You get here's a couple notifications that you can turn on. Choice Eliminator is a great one. I've used it. Like say you're doing a potluck and you want people to bring different foods. You can list different options for foods people could bring. You could turn on Choice Eliminator, and then what it does is it's going to, if I select, I'm going to bring the meatloaf. Mom, the meatloaf. I'm bringing the meatloaf. As soon as someone selects it, now it's going to take them off of that, and it's going to only show the options outside of it. So that's a great one. Play around with these forms, these add-ons. See if there's any that you like, and you could toss in that can add you value in your classroom. All right. And then the last one we go to is preferences. These are, honestly, it's similar to your default settings. So this is where I can change my form's default settings. I can turn it on where the default is. It collects email address. Oh, my dog is attacking me. Wow. Oh, it's an attack dog. It's a sheepadoodle. They're pretty dangerous. In the chat, in the comments, in your notes, tell me, do you have a dog, and what kind of dog do you have? And I'd love to know their name. So I can set it to where every question is automatically required. I can also set the default quiz point value. So I could say, you know what? Almost every question is worth 5. That's my starting point. This is great to do, especially if you're creating forms frequently. Now, again, if you're doing what I said, and that you're making one template and then you're making copies of it, it would kind of save as your default. But here's where you would go in and save those default settings for all of your Google Forms. The last thing up here in the upper right, this is your account that you're signed into. I can click this and I can go and switch between my Google accounts. If you have a student or a teacher that's like, I don't have access, I can't get access, they got to click right here and log into the correct account. This is where we swap between accounts. Whew. This is good. This is a good section. This is good. This is what I call like kind of your toolbar, your settings for that. We went all the way across. Something to think about is what settings Do I want default to become default for me as I use Google Forms and as I grow in it? And it's okay if that changes and it grow and like adapts and you get better with like next steps after it's submitted, or if you have stuff that's attached to different groups. So find the settings that work for you. And I think that it is super, super helpful for any educator to use. So thank you guys for tuning into this section. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Hey, it's Tyler here. I'm just gonna give you a little break. So if you need to go do something, you need to go use the restroom, get a snack, get something to eat, whatever, you can go do that. I was gonna chat with you about some stuff, give you some time to do that and check in, maybe say hi. If you want in the chat, let's do a little check-in. In the chat, how you feeling? Toss in your emoji of how you feeling right now. Let's do a little emoji checkup, if you will. So while you're doing that, I do want to give, you know what? I spent a lot of time writing this book, and I genuinely think this book is going to help you in your classroom. It's gonna inspire you more than anything. It's a read with me, and one of the things that I feel like I've never been the smartest dude in the room. I've never been, the most talented, but I'll say this: I was always been pretty approachable. I think I've been approachable, and I think what this is, I've tried to be as relatable as possible. I'm talking about my experiences, things I've run into in the classroom, what I've learned as a teacher and as an administrator and as a student, what I learned. And so this is the Baller Teacher Playbook. If you're interested in checking this out, I recommend. Of course, I recommend. It's my book. It's not the best book on education, but I think it's good enough to help you in some way. It's got a lot of practical experience in it. I've got quotes. That's a do you boo boo. I could have picked a better chapter. Here's one thing. I want to show you one thing that I did at the end of each chapter, because I know teachers. Okay, I put in practical application. I put in reflection, because we know reflection is important, even though we never have time to do it. But it's got spots for you to write that in. So this is something you can work on by yourself or with your team. But here's the part that I did, and this is legit just for teachers. I don't know if you can see that. I put in, at the end of each chapter, I have a section called TLDR. That's internet talk for too long, didn't read. So what that means is, let's say you've got a team meeting, okay? Because there's 18 chapters in here. That means you and your team, or you and your building, you can go through a chapter once a week. You meet on your planning period, spend 10 minutes talking about what you did, what you tried, what worked, what didn't work, stuff to help improve your class and improve your students. Every week you can do that. Have you ever done this? In the chat, be honest, you ready? Have you ever had a team meeting where you're supposed to read something and you're walking over to the meeting and you're like, oh no, I forgot to read the thing I'm supposed to read that we're gonna discuss for like 15 minutes. So you just try to chill and hopefully don't get called on or get called out for not reading it. At the end of each chapter, I have a section called TLDR, where in 2 to 5 bullet points, I summarize the chapter. So you could be walking to the meeting, you could read these 3 or 4 bullet points and be able to have a conversation about the entire chapter. There's stories in here, there's practical experience, there's ways that I messed up, ways that I failed, and then ways that I feel like I succeeded, and I'm just talking through what I learned from both of those. And I would love for you to learn and grow with me. So if you want to check out that book, it's on Amazon. I'll have the link on the screen if you want to get it. Link is in my bio. I link links everywhere to it. So Baller Teacher Playbook. I think it can help you in your classroom. Okay, we're about to get started. Kick back into it. Hopefully you're ready to roll, ready to go. And let's jump back in. Let's jump back in like Michael Phelps. Okay. Well, does that work? Does that work? I mean, he jumps into the pool. That's what I was going for. I need to know more like high diver. High divers would have been better. I'll tell you this. We're gonna stick the landing like Carrie Strug. Y'all remember her? Carrie Strug. Remember the Olympics? Georgia Olympics? Atlanta Olympics? You remember that? It's okay. It's a very narrow reference. All right, let's get started. Let's kick it off. Let's jump back in. Get your notes out. Get your screens pulled up. Get your coffee ready. Get your ice water. Your sweet tea. If you're from Arkansas like me, you know you like that sweet tea. And we're about to kick it off. Here we go. Let's get back in it. Let's get back in it. I'll see you guys. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Hey guys, Tyler here. I'm so excited to see you. I'm talking real slow because people tell me I talk too fast. So this is me talking real slow. So today we're going to be I don't know why I'm doing like this weird radio personality. Welcome to KWRK, the beat, 847. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, let's get started. So today I wanted to show you guys just like a detailed walkthrough of all of your options when it comes to adding a section, adding a question or upload or video option into Google Forms. So if you will look on the screen, I've got a beautiful little untitled form. You know what I've always wanted to do? I'm going to name it Titled Form. I'm sorry. This might not be funny to anybody else, but it's funny to me. So I am doing it. Okay. So in the comments, this is what I want you to tell me. What is the most common type of question you ask with Google Forms? That's what I want to know. So throw that little chicken nugget in the chat, in your notes. Put the one that you use the most. I want to know. Okay. So let's get started. Let's go to the one that is your default question. So the default, it's going to pop up as a multiple choice question. Let's click this drop down. It's not the first one in the list, but we'll start with it because it's very, it's just a very common question you might ask. So in here, let's ask a question of multiple choice. How about this? What is the best NBA team? Ooh, great. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So whenever we are in here, multiple choice, what that means is that they are going to have to choose between multiple options. Now, and that sounds pretty obvious, but they have that choice. Now, here is the things you need to know about a multiple choice. So we could type in, let's do the Lakers. We can do the Bucks, Warriors, and I don't know, Hornets. Go LaMelo Ball. Am I right, guys? Seems pretty cool. So we have our options. Now, how do you know if it is a multiple choice question? Look over here to the left. You're going to deal with circles. Now, that's important. You're like, oh, well, they're all circles. No, they're not. They are the multiple choice ones have circles. Now, what that means is you have to think of your learner on the other side of this test or this quiz or whatever it is you're getting. Whoever's taking this, if it is multiple choice, they can only select one option. Okay. So what that means is whenever they go in, watch this, I'll go and preview it. So whenever they go in and look at this question on your beautiful Google form that you've made, they can only select one. So if I try to select two, it's not going to allow that. Now, here's the cool thing too to throw out there. Used to at Google Forms, I don't know why it was this way. When you selected something, like if I went and picked the Lakers for this, and then I was like, oh, no, wait, I don't want to answer this question. It used to not let me unselect it. So it's like if you selected it, boom, you're stuck. But they've actually changed it. Now you can click again on the circle and it unselects it. I say that, it's not letting me unselect it. Okay, so I don't know. This feature didn't work, and then it worked like 3 months ago, and so maybe it's not. If I'm doing something wrong, let me know in the comments. That is baffling. Baffling, I say. You can know a lot about Google Forms. Doesn't mean you're an expert. I don't know why it's not letting me unselect it. If I figure that out, I'll let you guys know. But that's interesting. Try that on yours and let me know. Okay, so we have our options in here, and there is an option here for others. So all you'd have to do is click Add Other. When I click that, it gives this option. So when someone is taking that exam, if any of these multiple choices aren't the team that they want, they could type in other right here and type in, I don't know, let's say the Heat. They could put them in there. Now, here's something to keep in mind. If you really want to mess with your students, if on every multiple choice test, say you have like 4 or 5 options, you always put other, that'll really freak them out. And then just like every now and then make that like an answer they had to put in. That'll mess with them because, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm just going to guess. I'm just going to do a little guess. Here, it's like that would be funny. So you can make that as an option. If you ever want to delete an option, look at this. See these X's? I can go in and hit X and delete an option out of there. Okay, so that is how you would do a multiple choice question. Now, since we're in here, I'm going to show you a couple things. I'm going to show you a couple things that that I think are relevant, and this can be applied to most of these questions. But look over here. Do you see this to the right of this? That means I can go in and I can add a photo. So this is really handy because used to, you guys all know those tests where it's like an exam, and let's say you've got an X and Y coordinate plane, and it's saying refer to the photo above for the next 3 questions. Now you can actually attach the photo into that question directly. So you could click this right here. You can upload a photo. You can use your camera. See, I can use my camera. What's up? This is what I'll tell you. This is a little hack I used to use. If you teach math, it's really hard sometimes to like write out the equations. So you could do 2x over 4. And what I'll do is I'll do this, hold it up, make the equation, take a picture, insert. And that is just like a little hack on putting questions in that are a little harder to do. Just say, answer the question. Okay, sorry, that's not what I meant to do. So let's remove that. Okay, so let's say I want to add the photo. I can use my camera. I can go by URL. So I can find the photo on the internet. I can go through my photos. I can go through my Google Drive. Or, this is a cool one, you can do Google image search. So think of this. So I did MBA. You could do coordinate plane example. So if you wanted to, you could find the equation by going in here and looking around and finding something off Google. They won't put anything up there that you're not allowed to use. They read all the rights from people, and they'll toss those chicken nuggets on there. So this is an MBA question. So I'm going to put MBA. There we go. This is interesting. So let's do this one. There we go. Insert. Bam. So we got a photo attached to it. It looks like a video, but it's not. It's a photo. All right. And if you ever want to change it, you see these 3 dots right here. It looks like a slender snowman. You can left align it, center, right align. You can change the photo, or you can remove, or you can add a caption like, isn't that so pretty? Boom. I don't know why I said that, but that could be the caption. Okay. So that is a great way to toss in a photo. Now, here's the cool thing. You could do that for every single one of these as well. So this used to not be an option. They added it like gradually. At first it was up here, and you can make it the photo for like the whole question. And then now you can add photos in here. So think of this for like, say you did have one where it's like, tell me what slopes are, positive or negative. And let's do this, and then I'll show you that example. So let's Google search. I'm going to toss in, load up, little buddy. Google image search, Lakers. In the chat, I want to know, what is your favorite NBA team? So I could toss the Lakers here, hit insert, bam. So for the Lakers, I could do that, and I could even delete. Where it says Lakers, so it's just the photo, and it just says like option 1 or something. If you put some spaces, I think it'll still say option 1. Sorry, I want to give it a little bit of time. So you can do that. Let's do, okay, I'm going to show this because I want to show you. Let's start fresh. So I'm going to hit plus, and it adds a multiple choice automatically. Let's say I wanted to go, which photo represents a positive slope? Okay. Now, what I can do is I can go in and find a photo, and I can look and find like pictures of lines directly from the internet and make students choose. So like I could say slope. See if I can find one. There's one. That's a negative one. So I could toss this in. Actually, let's do this, which it tells them the slopes. That's not great, but honestly, if they're going to miss it, they probably wouldn't know it anyways. I can hit, remember to add one, like, oh, I need to add one. Just click inside there and hit enter. It's going to do this. I just added a photo. That's not going to work. That's going to be like every answer. So I need to change that. Let's click this again. Let's find a positive slope. Let's do line coordinate plane. Line on coordinate plane. Come on. Where's my lines at? Don't ruin my example. Don't ruin my example. Yeah, I don't see a good one. It would have been great, but you get the picture. Honestly, what you could do is you could screenshot a couple of them and then upload it in there. So like, for instance, let's say I went over here and I just went to, slope. I'm going to leave that. I'm showing you the walkthrough. This is how I would do it. So I'll go to images, Go to images. Images. Singing a song whenever. There we go. This is perfect. So here is a picture of a negative slope. I can take that. I can right click and go to download. Let's see, save image as. Okay, or I could screenshot. We'll just go to downloads, hit save. And then I can go here. I can go find this. I can click upload. And then I just browse. Then I'm going to go to downloads. I need to change my view list. Come on, little buddy. Date modified. All right. Today. Is this it? There it is. Hit open. Selected files not supported. Oh, that's weird. So here's my workaround that I use a lot. Let's click on this. Come on. Here we go. You know what? I'll just hit screenshot. On a Mac, it's pretty easy. It's just Command-Shift-4. Go here, hit browse. I'm going to hit desktop, and it's going to be that first one. Here we go. Hit open, because I know my screenshot's going to upload. We know that's a file size. Anytime you download off the internet, it's weird. So what I could do is I could go in and find those slopes. Now, it might even just be easier for you to do this, like draw it and then take a photo, and then you can put all those photos up. It's whatever's easiest for you depending on the subject that you teach. Okay. Now, I figure it's probably a good idea to keep rolling through this with multiple choice, and then let's talk about adding the different sections. Actually, let's do this. Let's do the options here, and then I'll do another one on just like focused on those. So let's go up here, hit the plus sign. Remember, the default is multiple choice. Let's click here. We're going to go to short answer. Short answer is something like, let's say, who was the first president? That's how you spell president of the United States. That's how you spell the. Is there anything, okay, in the chat, in the comments, in your notes, is there anything more nerve-wracking than trying to type when people are watching? Like that makes me, like I can type, I mean, I've been doing emails for way longer than I ever want to admit. And I still get nervous typing something to where it pops up. I don't know. Why is that? Okay. So short answer text, boom. They could have put it in there. You could do a photo just like we did with the last one. And then let's click this. I want to show you this. And the reason I clicked that is short answer and paragraph are essentially the exact same thing. It just looks different on the other side. So let's do this. I'm going to hit this. I'm going to duplicate the question. We could just say who was the second president. And then I'm going to make this one a paragraph. So I want to show you the difference on these. So I'm going to go over here. We're going to look at it. So this is my old question we did. Here we go. So here's the option. Now used to, look at this. See the line, how it's shorter and this line is longer whenever I click on it? Do you see that? That's the difference. They're going to make a paragraph one look longer. And so what that means for your student on the other side, whoever's on the other side of this is, if it is a shorter one, that is like the expectation is that you don't have to write as much. It's like a short answer. Honestly, if it's like five words or less, I'll do short answer. If it's like a sentence or more, I'll do long answer. That's just me. Honestly, though, if you guys know a difference, throw it in the comments. I don't know a big difference. I think you could probably do a character limit. We could look at that here in a little bit, but I think that it's just the expectation on the other side of which one they need to do. Used to, paragraph was like a box. But they've kind of, since they did the update on the design, it looks a little different. So, and somebody in the chat may know more than I do about that and the way it's changed. So I would love to hear it from them. Okay. So let's keep working our way down. Multiple choice we already did. So let's look at checkboxes. So we click on this. Now, what it does is this allows this allows the student or whoever's taking the quiz to select more than one option for each question. So we can say this. Which team, I keep going to NBA, which teams have won an NBA championship in the past 5 years? Okay. Now, the idea for check boxes is that you can select multiple options as answers. Okay. So we could do the Warriors, we could do the Heat, we could do the Bucks, we could do the Lakers, we could do the Cavs. And boom, there you go. Because in here, the answers would be Warriors, the answers would be Lakers, and the answers would be Cavs. And so let's take a look. Do this. Boom, boom. I'm just kidding. Boom, boom. Here we go. See, look at the difference. We got multiple choice as the circles, which I can only select one, and I try to select more than one, it'll switch it. Here, I can select more than one if I so choose to. Okay. Now, what that does is that allows you to do like a characteristics. Name the characteristics that fall into this. You could do like if you're wanting, so for instance, I make forms for people to submit things to conferences if they want to speak. And so they could go in and they could select, I want this, this, and this. Whenever we sent out, whenever I was in charge of the PD at my old school, I would send out a form to teachers and be like, hey, what do you want to learn about? And they would have multiple options to choose from, which allows for more than one. There you go. Okay, let's keep working our way down the line. We hit the plus sign. It makes a multiple choice. We want to go down. We did checkboxes. Let's do drop down. Okay, so here's the cool thing. Checkboxes. That's not a good idea. Let's see. Multiple choice, and drop down are essentially the same thing. Okay, I'm going to tell you the difference. So let's go up here to, I'm going to delete this, and we're going to delete this because we just need to delete it. I want to just use this one, so remove that. Okay, so we have our multiple choice. How did I say Lakers? Have our multiple choice. What that looks like, I'm going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to make it a drop down. All right. So add other. Okay. So whenever I go look at it, take a gander at this little chicken nugget. Okay. So here are two. Let's compare them. You have your multiple choice and you have your drop down. Here's the difference. With multiple choice, and again, I said earlier that you could unselect, but apparently I don't know what it was that worked that one day. It's not working now. You can unselect when it comes to a drop down. So I said Lakers, I can go up here and go back to choose and I can unselect. So that used to be one difference. Again, let me know in the comments. Is this something that you see? Are you able to unselect? So you can unselect with drop down, and then you can unselect on a drop down. Also, it consolidates it. So like if I was asking you, what state in the United States are you from? If I had 50 multiple choice, that's a little overwhelming. That's a little bit too much. I say if you have anything over 10, you should switch from multiple choice to drop down because it consolidates your form. It's less intimidating. It doesn't look like they're having to fill out like the phone book. So you can consolidate it a little bit better. Okay. Now, here's the other thing, the difference. So we talked about the first difference between multiple choice and drop down is that you can unselect. The second thing is that it consolidates a lot of options. Here's the third thing, and this one actually favors multiple choice. With multiple choice, I can have an other option. With drop down, you cannot have an other option. So if there's ever anything that, is there ever anything that you want to put into like, I don't know, I want them to have the option to put this in here, then you can do that there. Does that make sense? Does that make yes or no in the chat? Does that make sense to you? If not, somebody explain it. Somebody elaborate. Say it better than I just said it. You have the option for other if you do multiple choice. And you don't have to do other, but you have the option. Drop down, you don't have the option. Okay? So those two are very similar. They're very much like short answer and long answer. So there you go. All right, let's move on down. Making my way downtown, going down Google Farm. Here we go. All right, next one. File upload. Ooh, this one should not be underestimated in its power. Real ultimate power. I think of that when Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars, he's like, real power, and he's like zapping Mace Windu, which was not very nice. A lot of people don't know that. That just wasn't very nice. Okay, so let's read this together. You can all read, I know, but I'm going to read it through and talk through anything we need to know. Let respondents upload files to Drive. Files will be uploaded to the form owner's Google Drive. So that means that whenever they're filling this out, like if my students are filling this out, when they upload it, that'll be uploaded to my Drive as the person who created this. Respondents will be required to sign into Google when the file upload questions are added to a form. That means that if I add this on here, it's no longer an anonymous form. It will make them sign into Google. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. If you're like, I want to do an anonymous survey, and then you add file upload, it's no longer going to be anonymous. And then it says, make sure to only share this form with people you trust, because they're saying that because they don't want some like rando person to upload like a virus or something, because it's now uploading into your Drive. Does that make sense? Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Cool, 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 cool. Bam. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Now, I see you, Super Chat. That's really cool. It's really cool. Thank you, by the way. So, sorry, I'm reading the chat as I talk. So here we go. So whenever we do this, you need to add like a title. It says question, but it could just be, this is what, and this is low key. This is low key one of the best things you can do if you give an assignment through Google Forms, like it's a quiz, a test, if it's just literally anything that you're assigning students. Whenever I taught math and I had students fill out stuff on form, I always added this at the end of every single thing that I sign with Google Forms. Take a photo. It's not even a photo of your notes from this and upload them. Bam. This way. So like we used to do a lot of flipped classrooms. I would have the students, they would watch a playlist of, 5 or 7 videos, and they would take notes. The first day the next day we come to class, I would literally assign a Google form, like 5-question quiz over what they watched. And then at the end, I would say, upload your notes to this. And I would add this at the end of it. Anytime we do notes in class, if they're taking a test, I want them to show all of their work. They upload it in there. Am I going to go back and look at every single student's notes? Absolutely not. That would be super time consuming. But if I need to, I can. If I have a student that I'm like, they usually make, 2 out of 10s on quizzes, they just made a 12 out of 10. I need to check on this and see what they did different. Maybe they studied and they took a lot of notes, or I can see that they didn't. It's a great way to check those. Now, when we do this, let's work our way down here. Allow only specific file types. This is a really cool feature. I can turn that on. Until then, it's anything can be uploaded. If I turn this on, I can say they can upload a doc. I'll take a spreadsheet, a PDF. Do I want a video? No, that's a lot of space. Presentation, I'll take. A drawing, sure. Image, yeah. And audio. So I'll take off the video and audio. Whenever I have people submit sessions for like, conferences or speaking things, I'll have it to where they can only upload a video. I don't want them to upload the presentation. I want a video. And that helps reinforce what I actually want. It'll give an error and say they can't upload that if they try. Maximum number of files. And you can choose. I want them to upload 1, up to 5, or up to 10. 10 is the max they can do. They can't do unlimited. If it's notes, a lot of times I'll do 10 just because they might take multiple pages of notes, and it's good for them to be able to have those options. And then max file size. Now, if your district or your nonprofit or whatever you're working for has unlimited storage, dope. You should roll up to like 10 gigs. But most of the time, 1 gig honestly is 1 gig is a pretty hardy video. If they record for probably 5 minutes, that's on their phone. If it's a decent quality phone, that'll be about a gig. Most photos though are less. So you can do 100. That way students aren't just like uploading these like super high res. But then here's what you got to think on the other side of it. Say they do take a high res photo, or they're uploading 10 high res photos of their notes and it's over 100 megs. Like that could megabytes. Is that right? Tell me in the chat, in the comments. Like, is that what it's called? Megabytes? Yeah, I'm almost positive that's it. There's like a big M megabytes and a small M megabytes. I don't know. I need to freshen up on that. If you know the answer, tell everybody so they know. Then you can set that limit, okay? And it says this form can accept up to 1 gig of files. I can change that here, and I can choose, and it'll automatically take them out of settings, and I can upload it to like 10 gigs if I wanted to. Bam. So you can adjust that there. If you're getting a lot of error notices whenever you are making these Google Forms, or if you duplicate, like say you duplicate one of the resources I have, and it starts hitting this, you need to go click that and change and expand the amount of storage. That means that like if that says 10 gigs and I open it up to, I can't open it up. Let's say I put it on 1 gig and then I open it up to 10 gigs, I'll start getting an error, okay? So that's just something to keep in mind. All right, and then let's click here. I keep adding extra stuff. Okay, we're going down to linear scale. Oh, I love linear scale. Okay, low key, every time I give a test, quiz, or assignment, I add this on there as well. This is the question I ask. You can ask anything. This is going to be a linear scale that they're going to be able to look at. You could say, how confident are you in the test you just took? It could be assignment you just completed and the lesson we just did, just took. Boom. And then you could do 10, 1 to 10. And then I always like to give a label to it because you could do 1 to 10 and pretty basic. I could say 1, I just say no clue. And then for 10, I could say I aced it. I aced it. Okay. And let's go take a look at what that would look like. I'm going to go to this. And this way I can also show you what the file upload looks like. So if we scroll here, we're going to go down. Boom. This is what it would look like if they want to add a file. If the student or whoever's wanting to add a file, they would click this and they would be able to upload it. Or on the Chromebook, it also has the option to take a photo. So that's cool. Or they can go into the photos, take a photo, and then upload it. So they could also do that with their phone and upload the pictures from the phone. I agree. Sorry, I'm talking to the chat. I agree with you. You're great. So this is what it would look like. And so students would come in and they'd be like, I feel like I got an 8. This is a great way to gauge how learners feel with regards to, learning or your lesson or any type of resource or quiz or test. I genuinely think it's a really quick feedback that they could give. You could even add 3 of these, like how confident are you in what you just did? Another linear question underneath it could be, do you like the style of this test? And the last one could be, how do you feel about what we covered in class and if it prepared you for this test? There's some, you might see that a lot of your students are putting like 2s and 3s that you didn't cover this in class. And that's something that you can think about as you go in and create these assessments. Okay. So let's click back over here. We're scrolling down. We're still working our way through. Making my way downtown. We're walking fast. Okay. Multiple choice grid. All right. So this will be similar. This is like a combo. It's multiple choice. But also, let's do this. Okay, let's do it and I'll show you. Which players, let's see, play for which team? I could do Lakers, Warriors, and then the Hornets. That's not how you spell Hornets. And you could do LeBron, Curry, and then LaMelo Ball. Why do I keep using LaMelo? These rookies. So let's take a look at it. Take a gander at what it looks like. Okay, scroll down. Now, this is the way this is set up. I like to call this. One the Walmart job interview exam. Okay, and so here's why I call it that. One time I applied at Walmart when I was a teenager to be a cart pusher, and whenever I did that, they gave me this it was like a 30 question, like how likely are you for this? How likely are you for this? And then it gives you a scale, like not very likely, very likely. And so it's like you have this running scale and it's like, how likely are you to steal from us? And you're like, very likely or not likely. I like to call it the Walmart interview scale. So this is one way to do it. The way I just did is you can say LeBron, You could say curry. You could say ball. Bam, that would fill it in. Now, another way is you could do, let's see, you could roll over here. I could duplicate that. That way, that's also, I don't know if I said this earlier. If you are doing multiple questions that are similar style, like this is all short answer, or this is multiple choice, or this is linear scale, you can, instead of starting from scratch, you could just hit this little guy and duplicate it, which I'll cover that in the question settings section. So here you go. You could say this, answer the questions appropriately. It's embarrassing if I don't spell appropriately. I do, though. Nailed it first try. Okay, so here we go. How likely are you to steal from us? Now, here's the only problem with it, which I'm going to show you this. Watch this. From us. Okay. How excited are you to work here? And then how likely are you to stay here? I just deleted one. Long term, which actually that last question was not very good. Hit enter, give me a new line. How likely are you to make friends here? That's just fun. Okay. We could do not likely at all, kinda likely. Likely is a weird word. Now, what's the word? Does anybody know the word for it whenever you say something and it stops being the meaning of the word and it's like you stepped out and it's like this very meta thing? They talk about it in the show Ted Lasso. Has anybody seen Ted Lasso? It's very good. You probably shouldn't watch it. I think they cuss. So kinda likely. You can say very likely. How's that? Is that scale correct? Or did I change my likelies around? Likely. That's how you spell likely. Likely. Man, that word has gone weird in my head at this point. So here we go. I definitely spelled it wrong. Right click, likely. There we go. It became just a weird thing in my head. Not likely, kinda, likely. Very. I think I've got the scale right. But if I needed to, I could just click this and move it around, which we'll cover that in the setting session part. Sing. A lot of people don't know that I'm a great singer because I'm not. Okay, let's take a look at it. Hit this. We'll go to the preview and delete some of these. Yes, I want to leave. Yes, I want to leave. I don't know why I had a required question on all these. This is silly. Do y'all remember it from Neverland? It's one of my favorite quotes. Anybody have like weird quotes from movies? In the chat, let me know. What is a weird quote from a movie you say that no one knows about? One of mine is from the movie with Johnny Depp called Finding Neverland. And the little kid that Peter Pan was based on, he goes, just a little bit of silliness, really. That I say that. I don't know why, and it's weird sounding, and I always do it in that weird British voice that I'm not very good at, and there we go. Okay, so this would be an example of the scale. How likely are you to steal from us? I would say not likely at all. How likely are you to stay long term? Kind of likely. And then how likely are you to make friends? Oh, I love people. They're great. Okay, so we're taking a look at it. Now, I want to show you the next option, which is checkbox grid. What do y'all think? Remember, the difference between multiple choice and checkbox is multiple choice, you can select one. Checkbox, you can select more than one. So we're just going to turn this into a checkbox. We went from circle to square. Now we're going to hit preview again. Remember, preview lets you look at your form and check it out. Check it out. Make sure everything's good. Now, watch what happens. Here, I could only select one per row. Now, I can select more than one per row. Keep in mind, multiple choice, checkbox. Okay. That was actually pretty cool. They used to not have that one. So cool. So rad. Okay. So let's click multiple choice. We're almost done. Let's go down to date. This allows people to choose the date. This is great for like, which day did this occur? Oh, which day did it occur? And they'll be able to choose that. Let's duplicate it. And then I'm going to do time. What time did this occur? This is good if you are creating like a discipline sheet and you want to go in and say like date of incident, which you're thinking, well, it timestamps it. You don't always get to go in and fill in the discipline when it happens. It's good to say, this is the date it happened. This is the time it happened. Let's take a look at it, and then we'll be done with this question section. Here we go. That was like a weird, like Christopher Walken-ish. So sorry about that. So this is what it would look like. They would click on it. They could pick it and write it in. So I could say month, so 6/15, which is my birthday. Or they can click this, scroll around, and pick a date. Then what time did this occur? They could type it in, tab 30, and they can choose AM or PM. That's it. So that is an overview of all of the types of questions you can ask in a Google form. I hope this helped. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you learned something, and I hope that you follow all of your dreams. We're going to talk about something else in the next section, which is going to be very good. Thank you, guys. Y'all be good. Stay sweet. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful day. I genuinely appreciate all of you. That's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to do some more sections later. And so tune in, subscribe, or whatever you want to do. Talk to you guys soon. Peace. What up? Hey guys, Tyler here, Tarver Academy. What's up, Tyler Tarver? How you doing? How you living? In the chat, tell me one piece of advice you have for teachers. What's one thing you've learned as a teacher, or one piece of advice you learned as a student when you had teachers? I would love for you to tell me that in the chat, and let's all learn something from each other as we go. We're about to take a break right now. I'm gonna show some videos. I'm gonna let you kind of learn and say you don't have to go take a break, say you wanna sit at your desk. I'm not just gonna sit here in silence. We're not gonna play some Barry Manilow. That's not how Barry Manilow. What could I do? How about this, the greatest song ever made, Donna Lewis, I Love You Always Forever. I love you always forever, near and far, closer together. Y'all remember, in the chat, what is the greatest song ever made? And that's actually the answer. Donna Lewis, I Love You Always Forever. Second best song ever made, Backstreet Boys, Everybody, yeah. And third best song is obviously, Chumbawamba's Tub Thumping. I don't know, I'm sorry. Tell me your top #1 favorite song in the chat if you haven't gone to take a break. I'm about to stop talking and I'm going to let you learn something or start a discussion or just hear some thoughts. If you leave for this part, that's okay. But if you stay, you're hopefully gonna get some value out of it. And then we'll jump right back in to the PD. Here we go. Hey, are you ever doing something in Google Drive and you lose it and you can't find it? It happens to me all the time. Is it just me? I don't know. That's where you tell me if it's just me or if it's you too. Okay, this is a start, okay? So in your Google Drive, you're hanging out, you're having a good time, click, 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 boom, you can't find whatever it is you're looking for. I'm gonna tell you your best friend is, wham, Recent. Recent is incredible because what it does is it brings up, my son is making a Foxtrot book. It's a comic strip. And so anyways, you can go in here and you can see the most recent things that you have been editing or that someone else has edited that you have access to. That's it. That's recent. If you didn't know about it, now you do. Hope you enjoy it. Did you know? That's my question in the chat. Did you know about it? And that's it. We did it. In honor of April Fool's Day, I wanted to show you something I did my first couple of years teaching, which you should not do. Do not do this. When students would come into class on April 1st, I would hand them a quiz. 3 questions I said, it's from the state. I can't get around this. I'm so sorry. Now, spoiler alert, they were not the same test. One was easy, one was difficult. Easy, difficult. The trick is you want to keep the questions similar enough to where if a kid asks a question like, how do I do this? It won't give it away to the rest of the class. Example. Jeffrey has 6 apples. The diameter of one apple is 3/4 the circumference of Ashley B's 9 oranges added together divided by 2. If Jeffrey and Ashley stack their apples and oranges on top of each other, how far to the top of the Empire State Building would it be if the Empire State Building is 84.76 times taller than this room, floor to ceiling? Hard test. Jeffrey has 6 apples. Ashley has 9 oranges. Empire State Building is tall, probably taller than this room. How many apples and oranges would they have if they put them together in a basket? Easy test. I'm the worst. Copied question 2 on the hard test from like Wikipedia on Einstein's theory of relativity. The easy test asks you how to spell Einstein even though it says Einstein, and they give some funny jokes. Question 3 is about me saving babies from burning buildings. Yo, so I got a tip for iPhone and iPad. It's one of the best features they got. And I shared this like a few months ago, but nobody watched it. And then somebody else shared it and it popped off. No, I'm jealous. I'm peanut butter and jelly. Are you jelly? We all are. So let's learn the tip. You ready? This works for iPad or iPhone. Just swipe down. Just touch the screen in the middle and you swipe down. Look, I already searched it once. Swipe down. Type GUID, guided access. You're going to love this. You're going to absolutely love it. Turn this chicken nugget on. Now, from this, you're going to be able to lock students or your own kids into apps. You're like, I want you to stay in what is this? YouTube. That's the term. Then you just click this 3 times. 1, 2, 3. What it does is it gives you options to lock them in this so they cannot get out of the app. It's foil-proof, right, Ben? You need a website for your parents, students, or whoever else needs to see all the amazing things you're doing. There's a free option that I talked about before, but they just did an add-on for like a little feature that helps organize things. You know your boy love organization. I'm your boy. What's up? So if you go in the link in my bio, you can see my solo page. Now, if you don't have one of these, they are free. You can do the paid version, but free is perfectly fine for what you're going to want to do. You can have contact information, all that jazz. But here's what they've added. Look at this. You can actually organize things into sections. So I've got my summer training, stuff I recommend, cheat sheets, templates, resources, because everybody's like, you got too much stuff, just log in there. I know, I'm sorry. But those little headers is an addition that they've made that'll make things a lot easier for you. Templates. If you would like to do that, please go to, where is it? Best link in bio, option, link in it's linked in my bio. Check it out, sign up. It's free, and it's just add a feature to make it more organized. So I want to show you a feature, but also this is the #1 piece of advice I give teachers whenever they are using Google Classroom. It's the #1 thing that they should do. So in your classroom, the most important thing you need to do is you need to be detailed and organized. I'm going to show you why, and I'm going to show you how to save some time just in case you're not using this feature already. So when you're creating your assignments, you need to be very detailed, whether it's like 1.1 or 1-1, whatever organization system you do, you need to do that up here in the title. Make it clear and use it based on time frame or organization of the lessons, not like, here's the topic. You can put that in there, but the most important thing is when it happens or where it happens in the sections. And the reason is because I'm posting this for this year for this class, but next year, there's a good chance I'm gonna teach the same exact class. Now you're gonna be able to go to create, roll on down to reuse post, and then you can go in and pull it from archived or live actual classes. Oh, what? And then you can pull it in, hit bam, hit reuse. Where you at, little chicken? There it is, reuse. Boom, you can just reuse it. All right, so I hope you're learning more about Google Forms. We've broken down a lot of the features in it. I know it feels kind of tedious, but I wanted you to get a chance to play around, mess with that, and try some things as you used Google Forms. This next section that we're about to do, this actually was super fortunate to have one of my friends, Dr. Desiree Alexander. She is going to walk through what branching is what it's called. It's where essentially you take it and you make new sections based on whatever you're wanting the students to do next. So she's gonna take over and talk through that, and we're gonna learn some stuff. So check her out, go find her on social media, give her some love, and show her that her time was well spent and that she's an incredible educator, because she really is. And I'm lucky to know her, and I was thankful to meet her at the Google Innovator Training. So here she is, Dr. Alexander. Kick it off.
Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Desiree Alexander. I am the founder, CEO of Educator Alexander Consulting, and I'm the regional director of North Louisiana for the Associated Professional Educators of Louisiana, and that's an educational nonprofit. I am happy to share one quick skill with you today. Let's get started, and hopefully you learn a lot. So the big question I want to answer in this video is, how do you use Google Forms in more advanced ways? How can I be more inclusive in a Google form? How can I really make the form work in the way that I want it to work? And the answer to that is branching. So I'm going to show you 4 steps, 4 simple, easy steps to branching. Now, why did I even come up with this? Well, I do a lot of surveys. I would survey my students, I would survey my teachers. Now, of course, I do a lot of evaluations and registrations and things like that. And I hated putting those questions on the form that said, skip this if not applicable, right? Or put in a here. Oh, it would burn me up. I'm just like, I know that there has to be a better way that students and parents and teachers and whoever don't have to click through 5 questions to get to the question that applies to them. So I started doing a little research and found out that you can do this amazing thing with Google Forms called branching. So let's look at it and get this skill. Hello, everyone. Let's jump into how to branch, how to differentiate, how to reteach, how to do choose your own adventure stories, all in a Google form. And it's called branching. So there's 4 quick steps to branching. And these are the 4 steps that I'm going to go through. Create your main question and your branching questions. Make each question a section by itself. Go to the main section, click the hot dogs, and choose go to section based on answer, and then fill that out. And then go to the middle and tell it where to go after the branch. That's going to make much more sense after we get done. You can find this graphic on my website. If you go to educatoralexander.com/Google, or if you just go to educatoralexander.com, you can hover over presentations, tech tools, and click on Google. Once you click on Google, you will just scroll down. It's going to start up here. You're just going to scroll down until you see, there you go. Google Forms branching 4 quick steps. Now let's go through the 4 quick steps of branching. So the first thing I want to do is add my main question and add my branching questions. So I'm just going to put a question for name, because usually we have a name question, right? So I'm going to make that a short answer. I'm going to add another question, and this is going to be the one that I branch. So my question, if you want to branch it, it has to be multiple choice or drop down. So you're like, what about checkboxes? Nope, it has to be multiple choice or drop down, because it has to be something that only has one answer. So I'm going to make mine multiple choice, and I'm going to do a survey question. So my survey question is going to be, how did you like this training? So of course, Google used predictive questioning and made it linear scale. So I'm going to put that right back to multiple choice. And my answers are going to be awesome, okay, and horrible. So now I have my main question. So now I need to figure out, what do I want to ask for each one of these? So I'm going to just make another question, just like we do in a normal old form. And I'm going to say, what made it awesome? And I can make this whatever I want to. So I'm going to make this a short answer. I'm going to duplicate this and change awesome to what made it okay. And then I'm going to use my duplicate button again and say, what made it horrible? So I have one that matches each one of these. Do you have to do that? No. I can actually say, if they choose, the correct answer on the test, let them continue the test. But if they choose the other 2, bring them to a video or bring them to something they have to read. And then you can bring them back to this question if you want to. But for now, I'm going to have 1 per answer choice. Now I have this, but of course, this is not going to be the end of my form, and I'm going to have some other questions after this. So I'm just going to add a random question right here. Rando question to continue the survey. Okay, so I have all of my first step done. I have my main question and I have my baby questions. I have my tree and I have my branches. So step 2 is I want to make each one of these a section by itself. Not really the main question, but all the baby questions have to be a section by itself. So to do that, know that anytime you add something to a form, it adds underneath. So that means if I want a section to start right here before the first baby, I'm going to click, how did you like this training? So this is active. And I'm going to use my add section button. I kind of call it an equal sign. That's not what it is, but I call it an equal sign. So I'm going to click the equal sign, and notice it separated my form and made this a section by itself. Yay! Now, you see where it says untitled section? I want to delete that and either leave it blank, or you can put a title there. So since this is the awesome section, I'm going to put the title awesome. Then I'm going to click on the question, what made it awesome? And remember, I need this to be an island by itself. So I'm going to click section. And now notice that this is a section all to itself, section 2 of 3. So I'm going to continue this pattern. This is the okay section. Click on what made it okay. Click the equal sign. So now okay is a section by itself. It's a little island by itself. Then I have section 404, delete untitled section. I'm going to call this the horrible section. And this is not, I can't have this rando question with it. It has to be an island all by itself. So I'm going to click on what made it horrible and click on the equal sign. So notice what I did. Step 1 is I typed out all the questions that I wanted to have. Step 2, I just went through and made each baby question or each branch a section by itself. And you can tell just by this section number that it's the only thing in this section. We are ready for step 3. Step 3, we're going to come up here to the main question, to the tree. And we're going to go ahead and click on it because we need to tell Google, hey, when they click awesome, I want you to go to the awesome section. So to do that, I'm going to come right here to the 3 dots, to the hot dogs, to the skinny snowman. And I'm going to click it and click go to section based on answer. When I do that, notice for each one, it now gives me some directives. So I don't want each of these to just go to the next section because that will all go to awesome and that would defeat the purpose. So for awesome, I want it to go to section 2. Notice because I put a title here, it actually shows the title, which makes it a little bit easier. If I wanted to delete this title, it won't show the title, but it still will show the section number. So it's really up to you if you want that title there or not. So awesome goes to section 2. Now I actually have mine in order and I have them labeled. So it's kind of easier. I don't have to keep scrolling down to see, what section it is. So it makes it a little bit easier for me. So I know okay goes to okay and horrible goes to horrible. Now, again, if I wanted awesome to go here and I wanted both of these to go to horrible, I can do that. So if I'm doing a test and I say if they get it right, I want them to continue. But if they get it wrong, I want you to go to the section with the video. Okay, I can do that. So I just want to make that very, very clear. Mine just happens to be 1 for 1. So I only have one other step and I'm done with my branching question. My last step is I need to tell Google after you go to that section, what do I want you to do? So for example, after you say that my training was awesome and it brings you to this section, what next? Because I don't want it to go through okay and horrible because that defeats the purpose. So I have to tell Google, where do I want it to go next? You do that right in between your sections. So it says after section 2, where do you want me to go, sweetie? So I want them to continue the test and or the survey. And I don't want this big, ugly, untitled section. So I'm going to just delete it and leave it blank. So I know section 5 is where I want everyone to continue. So I'm going to come here and say, after they tell me my glorious training was awesome, I want it to go to section 5. After they tell me, it was okay, that's fine, I want you to go to section 5. And then after you tell me how garbage I was, how about you just submit, right? We don't have anything to say to each other. You hate me. You hate my training. I probably don't like you either. So let's go ahead and submit. Let's be done with each other. So you can just go ahead and submit the form. We're done with you. So there you go. That is how you branch. Now, when you first start branching, please, 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 please only branch one question. So if you're doing a 30-question test, please do not try to branch 25 questions because it gets very confusing very quickly if you're not used to doing it. And honestly, even if you are used to doing it, it can get very confusing to branch that many questions. So just keep that in mind, keep it simple. And then when you get used to doing this, you can do more and more and more. Number 2, never send out a form with a branch without testing it yourself. Sometimes I would send it to other people to test, but I need to test this myself. So always test it. And that's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to come here to the eyeball and see my live form. So name, question, perfect. And I want to test this out. So if I say it was awesome, next it should go to what made it awesome. Next, it should go to the rando question to continue. Use this back button instead of the one up here because sometimes when you use the top one, it brings you all the way to the to the front of the form. And if, like, let's say this question was question 25, you don't want to go all the way back to the beginning. So, okay, next, it should say what made it okay, perfect, and rando. And even though I've done this a lot, you see how I'm like, it should say, because we all make mistakes. Horrible, next. What made it horrible? And remember, we're done with each other, right? So you don't continue the survey. You're done. You're going to go ahead and just submit. So there you go. My branch is perfect. And I do want to just give one more tip. Let's say this was the last question. For all of these, you can say submit. So when you say, what to do after the question, if this was the last thing I wanted you to fill out, then you can absolutely put submit for all of these. Completely up to you. I can also, you remember I talked about reteaching? I can also send you back to the original question. So if I wanted you to say it was okay, tell me why it was okay, and then go back to the original question to maybe get it right this time, you can do that. Because whatever data you're going to have on your spreadsheet is going to be whatever data is there when they hit submit. So if they answered number 2 wrong, and then you branched them to a video, and then you asked a question about the video, and then you brought them back to the question to get it right, you're only going to see the last answer that they did. So that's awesome. And I've had teachers say, well, I want to know who's branching. Like, I want to know who is using the retest feature, right? I want to know who's struggling. The only way you can really know that is if you ask a question in the branch. So for example, if this was a test question, and I said, if they answer it wrong, bring them here. If I ask a question here that either leads them back to the question, or just, I just want you to kind of learn throughout the test, and then brings them to the rest of the test, whatever person has that answer on the spreadsheet, that means they visited the retest area. So that's how you can tell, for every question, Michael had to use the retest, because I see that he has an answer there where other people don't have an answer there. So that's the kind of awesome part. If you do sections and you make any of these questions required, it's only going to be required for people who visit that section. So you don't have to worry about, like, I can't make these required because I don't want everybody to have to fill that out. Well, no, it's only going to be required if you visit this section. So if you said it was okay and horrible was required, that's not going to affect you because you've never visited this section. So just keep that in mind. And you can also make the main question required too if you want to. It doesn't hurt anything with your branch. We have branched our questions. We are going to be so very awesome in our Google Forms. We're going to make it work the way we want it to work. Of course, I've given you the examples of using it for surveys, using it for test questions, but I've also even had younger teachers or teachers of younger students use it for choose your own adventure stories. So the first question can say, what is your favorite color? Purple, blue. If you choose blue, the next section that I send you to is the blue section that says the blue princess in the blue castle, blah, 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 blah. If you choose pink, it'll say the pink, I think I had purple, but I'm fine. The pink princess in the pink castle, blah, 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 blah. So you really can choose your own adventure stories and all kinds of things using Google Forms. So there you go. Hopefully this opened up a whole new world for you with forms, and good luck. Okay, wasn't that fun? Now that you know how to differentiate using branching on a Google form, I want to leave you with this challenge. What traditional Google Forms have you created for tests or surveys, quizzes, anything like that you can now use branching to either reteach in the middle of a form to make the form more inclusive, or to make the form work the way you want it to work? It's time for you to start revising those traditional Google Forms. Good luck.
What up? Welcome back. Hey, Tyler here. How are you doing? How are you feeling? In the chat, let's do emoji check. And how are you feeling right now? Have you learned? Oh, no. To this point, what is something that you are going to try in your classroom or implement that you might not have wanted to, an hour or two ago? What is something you're wanting to implement in your classroom? Put that in the chat right now. I'd love to see it. I know the other people in the chat would love to see it. I know it'd be some great input. So throw that in the chat and then you can also copy paste and put in your notes, just so you don't forget. Make sure everything you're doing, you're keeping notes of, keep links to it, all of it, because I want you guys to be able to access and actually make your classroom better. I've sat through enough PDs in my life, professional development in my life, that I don't remember one thing from. I pray that you walk through this. I am hoping that you get something out of this training that you can take and use, once a day, once a week, once a year, once a decade, something that you use and implement, whether it's a mindset or a skill set or just any type of framework to build your classroom and make things better. Okay? Speaking of making things better, making ourselves better, I do want to give you, some thoughts on something that I offer, a community that we have at Tarver Academy that I think could add you a ton of value. It could help you get better all year. Because right now we're getting better with PD, with professional development. Hopefully you're getting better right now. This summer you're gonna hopefully glean some information, some knowledge, some experience, and you're gonna get a little bit better. I want us to get better all year. I want us to get better all throughout the year. And here's the thing with teachers. We do not have time to go sit through a 6-hour professional development once a week. So what I did was I created a community called Tarver Academy. And it was based on teachers telling me they wanted resources. They wanted a continuation of these trainings, of templates, of resources. They wanted to be handed to them, because if you go out and search for it, you're gonna find random stuff. They wanted stuff that could be applied to their classroom, that they can sit there, bite-sized professional development for busy teachers. That's Tarver Academy on a roll. And I would love for you to join if you want to. If you don't have to, don't pay for it. It's not very expensive at all, but I don't want you to have to pay for it. I would rather you use your district's professional development money. So if you want, have them go in, order that for you. What happens if you sign up for the Tarver Academy on a roll? What it's gonna do is it's gonna add you value. Do you wanna get better as a teacher every week, but not have to go out and search for it? How about if we just hand it to you in an email? In the email, every week, you're gonna get either a template, a resource, you're gonna get a short PD video, professional development, a training to show you how to do something you might not know how to do, or reinforce something you're maybe already trying. You're gonna get something that makes you better every week, plus some quick tips, links to some other things, and also you can ask me questions. I have a mailbag where you get to ask questions, and that's the list I'm gonna pick from first. I wanna help you guys. If I don't know how to do it, I'll do the research for you. You're like, oh, I really wish I had a digital interactive notebook. Guess what I'll do? I'll go in and I'll build digital interactive notebooks, and I'll give you the template. You don't have to pay teachers. You don't have to go in and throw the money at anything. I wanna just hand it to you, and I wanna do trainings for you to help you. So if you wanna join that community, I think it's super helpful, and it's essentially where I become the tech facilitator for you. It's Netflix for teacher resources, and I would love for you to join and jump on that. So if you want, go there. It's tarveracademy.com/honor-roll, and you can sign up for that. And I think it's just going to be a huge help to teachers throughout the year who have a lot going on and not a lot of time, extra time to go out and do it. It's like as teachers, they always give you more stuff to do, but they don't give you like, oh, here's like an extra 3 hours a day to go out and do whatever it is you're going to do. So if you want to sign up for that, you can. I hope you've used this time also to use the restroom. So if you're just getting back using the restroom, guess what? We've just been talking about Tarver Academy on a roll. No big deal. But I want to give you guys time to go do that and get a snack if you need it. Whatever you need to do, we're about to kick back into. We're about to jump back in it. We're gonna fall back into the gap. Fall into the gap. Man, do y'all remember that? That was a good campaign. That was memorable. Wasn't it? Memorable? Yeah, sure. Okay, so we're about to get started. We'll get started here very soon, and we're gonna jump back in. We're gonna keep learning. All right, let's do it. Let's go. We're still doing this. In the chat, here we go. In the chat, I want you to tell me the name. Okay, don't say that. I was gonna say, tell me the name of, you know what? You can do that. Tell me the name of a teacher who made an impact on you and what they did. Why did they have an impact on you? In the chat, what name of a teacher or an educator that had an impact on you and what they did to have an impact. It was either the way they treated you, the way they ran their class, or the way they inspired you, or just the way they had structure maybe. They were reliable, they were consistent. I would love to hear in the chat name of a teacher that motivated you as a student or as another teacher and what they did. So let's throw that in the chat, and we're about to get started. We're gonna jump back into it. We're about to get started. We're gonna jump back into it like a pogo stick. See that? See what I did there? Nope? Okay, all right, let's get going. What up? Hope you are enjoying this Google Forms learning experience. We are about to walk through how to set up a Google form as like a full class walkthrough, okay? Now you can start from scratch if you want, or you can use a template. I've got that linked in my PD stuff, whichever page you went to on my website, tarveracademy.com. Go to the PD and you can get that resource, or start from scratch. It's up to you. Pick which one you want. Go there now, get that, and walk through it with us, or just chill and watch, take notes, whatever. But the idea is you want to build a multiple section, like essentially assignment, to where students could go through it, okay? One way to do this, one way to use this in your classroom would be to set this up, and then you assign it to everybody in the class, and the students are sitting there in front of you, and then they are watching the video tutorial and they're answering the questions, they're moving along through that. And then you can walk around the class and help students individually. It's almost like creating a co-teacher by having something that they go through on their own, and you control it. It's not like you just said, here's a program, everybody work in the program. You're creating this form, and it's not super hard to do. Once you do it a couple times, you can use those templates and make copies of them, or you can make a copy of my template and start from there and build what you want, okay? So let's go through. I'm gonna walk you through that in this video, and we're gonna learn and we're gonna build that setup. You could also use this, say you have hybrid or virtual students, you could assign this so that they can go through the entire lesson step by step, as opposed to just watching a 3-hour video and then answering the questions. It's like you can pace it a little bit better, okay? Just to be honest, this is how, whenever I taught math, we had at the beginning of each chapter, they'd have 5 problems. They would start off with something small that they'd learned in Algebra 1, then something else. It's like stair-stepping up into your critical thinking, harder questions. This could be a way to break it up into 5 sections and do your whole lesson through this, okay? It'd be a lot of work the first year, but after that, you can just keep reusing it and editing and adapting and making it better. So I'm gonna stop talking here, and I'm gonna start talking on the next video and walk you through it, okay? So remember, link is on tarveracademy.com if you need it to get the resource, okay? Or I'll tell you in the video actually how to get it. So get that, roll with it. I actually have a template if you wanted not to start from scratch. And I debated on whether or not I started from the template or if I started from scratch. I think I'll start from scratch because that way you can see it from the ground up. But if you do want access to the template that kind of lays out everything for you, just go to my Instagram. It's Tarver Academy. Sorry, not Tarver Academy. It's Tyler Tarver. And then you just click on solo, that link in the bio. And then I have a template linked under here that'll automatically make a copy for you. It is, let's see, I'll show you exactly where it is. It's red because it's a template. It's adaptive review template. Do you guys see that? If you click on this, it's gonna ask you to make a copy. You make a copy of that. This is already built to differentiate based on how students go. You just have to plug in the information. So it gives you, oh no, wait, that's not it. I'm so sorry. That's good. That's a good resource. This one also adapts based on it. I think you should click, too many resources, guys. I got too many free resources out there. That's on me. You wanna go to differentiated form template. See this little chicken nugget? Click on that. That's the one you want if you want to start from scratch with what we're talking about today. So here we go. Boom, we're in here. You would just fill in the lesson topic. I've kind of got it all laid out for you, and then you would just change it because I won't have access to this, but you can. So here we go. So we're rolling in. That one that showed you where the free template is. That's the Patreon if you want to get next level trainings and teachings and resources. But we're starting from scratch, building a Google form. So let's go to new. We're in our Google Drive, drive.google.com. We're going to click on new. And then I'm going to go to more. They don't put it right here in this opener. You got to go to more, go to Google Forms. Now, that's going to give me a Google form from scratch. It's loading up. Creating a form, building from scratch. Okay, So the first thing you always want to do is you want to title your forms because you want to be able to find them later. So we're going to go in and title it. Let's call this, slope lesson. Actually, I would even put like, 1.7, whatever the title is there. Now, once you write that header in, do you see up here in the upper right where it says Untitled Form? If you just click on that, it'll automatically fill in whatever the header was. You can change it later if you want to, but that is a great way for you to go in and do that. Now, under form description, I always like to go in and grab like some standards. So I also don't like searching because like we don't always have the standards. If you've got like a curriculum map or a template you're working out of, that's great. But if not, what I usually do is I'll just type in like my state, Arkansas State, standards, slope, formula. Loading up, Arkansas State, please. Loading up, taking its dear sweet time. There it is. Slope formula. That's going to bring me probably pretty close to whatever it is I'm teaching. So I can go in here. And I'm showing you all of this, guys. Like this is a full lesson. I'm talking full walkthrough. So if you don't want this part, you don't want any part of this, you just flip ahead wherever you need to go. Boom. You can hit Command F or Control F, and you can search in Google Chrome. So that's what I just did there, and I'm searching through there. Let's see. Is this what I want? Are we going to talk about this? Let's go hit next. We'll go to the next one. Interpret rate as a slope of the graph. Okay, this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it in my form description. And then I'm going to go in and grab all of it. That's it. You want to get all of what you want for this lesson. Put that in there. Excellent. Okay, so that gives me kind of a way to go back and students and parents to reference what they're learning for this lesson. Okay, now you want to get the student name. Now, once you build out, so you're only going to have to start from scratch one time. Again, you might not have to start from scratch if you want to go in and just use my template I made earlier. But if you were starting from scratch and you're building this, you could just go in and make a copy of one that you've made before and then change the information. That way you could go in and drop a bunch of student names here. So like, for instance, let's say I went into, I'm assuming you did like a survey and you found, you had students go in and put their name, their email address, all that stuff. You can go into that Google form and I think here, student info form. I don't think I actually had it. This is just like one I used from a training. But let's say you did. You could actually go into, let me see. Let's search spreadsheets. Type, let's make this a spreadsheet. See if we can get some names on here. Okay, greatest people on earth. Let's see if there's anybody in this one. Here we go. Boom, got it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to quickly put all of your student names into the Google form so they can just click and from a drop down. They don't have to like write their name in. And the reason I like that is because it keeps it more uniform. You have more control on how they write their name as opposed to like some nickname or they put everything in lowercase. So I'm going to select the top name. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to hold the Shift button, and then I'm going to click again. That's going to select all of those that I want. I'm going to hit copy. So Command C. Okay, there it is. And then I can just make this a drop down, and then I just paste. You can go into a Google spreadsheet. You can copy an entire column, and then you can paste it in. And so now I have all my student names in there. I'm going to delete where it says option 1. Okay, you can always add in, well, we can't add an option on drop downs, but there you go. Okay, excellent. So we have all of our names in, student name. Now, here's the thing. You're thinking, well, what keeps a student from just going in and selecting any student's name that they want, submitting it as them? Here's what you need to do. And I do this literally every time I start a new Google form. I always go up to my settings. Up here in the upper right, you see that gear? I'm going to click on the gear, and I'm going to collect email addresses. Okay? This way, students can pick any name they want from the drop-down, but their email address will show who they really are. So if you're like, oh, there's Billy filled that test out twice. No, Billy didn't. Billy did once, and then Sally did it as a joke and took it and didn't do well. So You collect email addresses, response receipts. This means that it's going to show them that they submitted the form. If you have students that are like, the negative would be that they're getting all of their answers emailed to them so they can forward it to their friend. But the positive would be that they know that they submitted the form. So on most quizzes, I'm probably not going to select that. You can restrict it to your organization. See this right here? You would be able to restrict it to people that are in your school district. So if you've ever sent a Google form and students have been like, oh, it says I don't have access to it. Well, guess what? That means that they are not signed into their school account. You need to just reply back and say, make sure you're signed into your school account. Because if that's the only, now every student hits you up and they say they don't have access, then you messed up. But if it's just like 1 out of 30 and other people are submitting it, it means that that student is not signed into the right account. This happens most often whenever somebody is opening the Google form on their phone, because usually they're not signed in their school or their work account on their phone. If it's a quiz, I want to limit to 1 response. And then afterwards, I don't really want them to edit after they submit, and I don't want to see a summary of everything. Now, I'm going to work my way down. We just went to general. Let's go to presentation. Let's show the progress bar. Let them see how they're doing as they work through it, because we're making a multi-section Google form. We're not just doing like 1 page that they keep scrolling. We're going in, guys. We're learning something big here. This one, you can change the confirmation message. Great job. Check, Google Classroom. Oh, you know what I'd put here? Make sure you hit submit in Google Classroom to show you finished the lesson. Okay, because when you submit this through this form into Google Classroom, it's not always going to mark that they did that. So here we go. Go to quizzes. Now, default is these are not quizzes. We want ours to grade automatically. So we're going to actually make this a quiz. So immediately afterwards, they can see it, because I'm not going to put in any essays or long answers. I'm going to do all multiple choice. I don't want them to see missed questions or correct answers. They can't see point values. The reason I turn off missed questions and correct answers is because I don't want them to get it sent and they just forward screenshots over to their classmates. So I'm going to hit save. Boom. I've got everything I want now. Okay, so there we go. We've got the student name. We're not making that worth any points. I'm going to hit the plus sign. I want to say class period, and I can make them say 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so I have the class period. They can select that. That's a multiple choice. And then I always add this is my gathering information stage. I'm getting their name. I'm getting their class period. You don't really have to get date that they submit, because that's going to be time stamped on your Google form. So it's actually going to be in the spreadsheet. And then the last thing I want to, and I always do this on the lessons, how much do you know about slope right now? Okay. I like to gauge where they are in their knowledge. And for that, I like to use a linear scale. So 1 to 5, that's a pretty basic one. 1 is nothing. And then 5, I got it already. Okay. So that's a good way to just get them to see what it is. And if you want to see what that looks like, you can go up here to the upper right, see the eyeball. That's your preview. So I can actually go look and see what this looks like so far. So they can choose their student name, they can choose their class period, and then they choose where they are on that scale. Okay. And this down here, this is showing my progress, and I've only made 1 page so far, but we're going to make more. So here we go. All right. So I'm going to leave that. Okay. So now I like to separate my welcome, intro, gathering information stuff from the rest of the assignment. So we're going to make this its own. And then I need to make a new section. Okay. You see the little plus sign over here? That's going to be adding questions. This is if I want to import questions from a previous Google form, which this is an awesome feature we're going to talk about later as a advanced training if you're joining us on the Patreon link there. And then text, we can add title and description if we want, add an image, add video. We want to go to the last one, the equal sign, add a section. So I'm going to hit that equal sign. Boom. See this split right here? That is where we add a section. Now, take a note of this, because we're going to talk about this in a second. After section 1, we want to continue to the next section. Do we want to submit the form? What do we want them to do when they finish page 1? We just want them, default is to move to the next section that you create. So this one's going to be learning slope. Okay. So right here, we are going to teach them about slope. I titled it learning slope. Let's add in our instructions. So we're going to click add video. Okay, you can actually search YouTube directly from here. So let's say I want to search for one of mine. I can type Tarver slope. I can find a video of me teaching slope, how to find slope. Boom, there we go. So now I've got a video. It's directly in there. And I can say, watch the video, take notes on paper. Okay, so there we go. I'm telling them to take notes on paper. You want to be very clear with these instructions. Okay, if you don't tell students to do it, don't assume that they're going to do it. If you're doing virtual or remote, they're not in the classroom with you, so they can't see it as well. So there we go. I'm teaching them slope. Then I want to ask a question. So I'm going to add another one, and then I want to ask them an actual question. So this is going to be question number 1. What is the slope formula? Okay, so we could type this in. I'm going to make it a multiple choice question. And slope formula, oh goodness, if I remember slope formula, isn't it like x2, let's see, x, why did I do math? I should have done history. x2 minus x1 divided by, which I need to put parentheses there, sorry. x2 minus x1 divided by what? Oh no, it's y's in the front, isn't it? Oh goodness, I'm sorry, this is very embarrassing. Slope formula. This is terrible. This is terrible. Y's on top. I knew it. I knew it. It's like my instinct was to put x first. That's on me. Okay, so I'm gonna switch that up. Sorry guys. All right, boom. But this is important. It's important. So y2 minus y1. Okay. Okay. So that's the slope formula. That's my correct answer. Now, I want to add in other versions of it. I'm going to show you the way that I add in other versions of the correct answer. I think the easiest way to do it is you do like an offset of whatever it is. So they can't, if this was like option number 1 and option number 2 is like 48, option number 3 is Alexander Hamilton, option number 4 is pizza, then they're going to go with this one because it's the only one that makes sense. So I like to do stuff that is very close but different. So I'm going to just do this, and I'm going to delete the parentheses. You know why? Because that's the wrong answer. Because if they do this, their order of operations, which is another teaching moment, would be incorrect. Now I'm going to make another one, and this time I'm going to put the X's in the front. We got my horses in my back. That's stupid. Why did I do that? I'm sorry. Okay, so we're going to go here. Boom. We switch that up, and I'm going to do the same thing I just did. I'm giving all these different options because I want them to have watched the video. We can even put in a little y equals mx plus b because, you know, there's some people that would think that would be it. Okay, so I've gotten all my options. We want this to select the correct answer. So this one's worth points. So I'm going to go to my answer key. See down here, I'm going to go to answer key. And I want to select the correct answer, which is this one. Okay, now I could select more than one correct answer, but there's not. There's one correct answer. So, and then I want to choose how many points it's worth. Let's make it worth 10 points. Then I'm going to click done. Okay, now see the check mark right here? That shows me what my correct answer is. You don't always want your correct answer. I always say type your correct answer first, but then move it around. Okay, give it some, you know, you don't want it always to be like the first thing you pick up. Students will learn about that and they'll actually, let's make y equals mx first, throw them off. Okay. There we go. Is this a required question? I mean, no, they could skip it and get a 0 on it. That's up to them. Okay. Now, I'm going to create my next section. So create new section. Now, what I want to show you, we are talking about how we can make these forms differentiate. So a traditional form so far, we've got our like, hey, tell me about you. Boom, we go into question 1. Boom, we go to question 2, 3, and we're done. What I want to do is I want to go from, hey, here's where, you know, here's hello, here's your name, to question 1. If they get it right, they can go to question 2. If they get it wrong, I want them to get extra help. So to do that, I'm going to make my extra help section next. So I'm going to go to the new section. And then this would be, let's call it slope extra help. Okay. Now I'm going to add in another video. Let's go to, boom. That's not what we want. Boom, there it is. We'll do that one. Got another video. I could say watch video and type notes in the section below. Okay, giving them something to do here. So now I would just go into add a question, and I want to say type notes from the video here. Okay. Now, this way they're forced to input more information that you're going to be able to see. So I'm going to go to paragraph. That way they're just going to be able to type in there. Now, I don't want to make this one worth any points. I'm not going to make this an actual question that is worth points because this is extra help. I'm not wanting every student to do this page. I'm having them do this because they got the last question wrong. So it's like extra help that's forced upon them. Now, so that's why, because then you would throw off your grading scale, which is one of the hard things about differentiating, because if not every student's doing all the same questions, how do you grade that fairly? So that's what I do. I just don't make this worth points, but they have to do it if they got the last one wrong. Now, I'm going to create another section, and this will be part 2. Let's say that part 2 is slope intercept. Okay, so say we're moving on to that. I could go in here, I can create a video, or I can select a video, slope intercept form, boom, got it. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to this section. You see where we had them select the correct answer? Now that I've made my slope question, then I made my extra help if they get it wrong, and then I've made the next section where I want everybody to go to. So what you have to do now is you have to tell the Google form which page to go to based on what answer they select. So to do that, you go to the 3 dots right here on that question. See the 3 dots? You're going to go, it looks like an ant with the legs ripped off. That's terrible. We want to go to go section based on answer. Go section, go to section. Now, the default is they will all go to the next section, which remember is our extra help. What is the only answer we don't want getting extra help? That's right, the correct answer. We want them to move on to slope intercept. Boom. So the correct answer is going to skip ahead to here. Everybody else is going to get this, which is what we want. Okay, then we're good. We don't have to click save or anything. It saves automatically. And then I want to go back down here to slope intercept. I'm going to add another question. This will be question 2. And it can be solve, what, how about this? What is the slope of the following equation? And then we would just say, ooh, I want to show you this. This is really cool. Do you see this right here? This little photo, this little thing to the right? You can actually add a photo in there. So I can actually just search Google image search, slope example question. And, formula. Let's say this is slope example formula. Maybe that'll get what I want. I just want a formula. Show me the formula. That's not even close. Slope intercept. That's what I want to write. Intercept formula. Okay, let's see if we can get a picture. Man, Google, give me something better. Give me something. Give me something good. Well, it didn't show me anything I wanted. Actually, maybe this is it. Let's see if we can insert this. We can delete it later. I did want to show you how to insert a photo. Let's see if this is applicable. Yeah, that's not what we want at all. So I'm going to hit this. I'm going to delete that. And let's just type in the equation. So it'd be like, let's say y equals 2x plus 5. Okay. So now I want them to tell me which one is the slope. So what you could do is you could type in 2 divided by 1, which is our correct answer because slope is right in front of the x. I'm sorry, this is not a lesson on slopes, it's a lesson on Google Forms. We could just put 1 over 2. We could put -2. We could put 2. You don't have to do just 5, -5. You can do 2 over 5. I say put every single possible thing you can because we don't want kids to guess their way out of this. All right. Now, my correct answer is 2 over 1. So I need to make that my correct answer by hitting answer key. We're going to make it worth 10 points. We're going to select our correct answer. We're going to hit done. Now I want to do the same thing. Go to section based on answer, but I don't have more sections yet. Okay. So I'm going to create another section. This will be slope intercept extra help. I spelled intercept wrong. Okay, all right, sorry, that was bothering me. Let's add in another video. Let's do this one. Oh, we already did that one. Let's do that one. And then it says work the equation with the video and put notes in the box. Okay. So let's add another question. We're going to add a paragraph. notes here. And then we're going to make that paragraph, which it already did. A lot of times Google Forms will read what you wrote as the question and it'll move it there. Okay. And then we could do like an exit survey if we wanted. We could do a quiz at the end. We can do anything we want for the last section, but for time, I'm going to go ahead and make my exit page. I always recommend an intro page. Put your lesson in there, exit page. So I'm going to add a new section. I'm going to call this exit information. Okay. And before we do that, remember, we don't want to forget, we're going back up here to our slope intercept, and we need to make it go to section based on answer. Okay. Everybody's getting extra help. That's my next section. I want this one to skip to exit information because they got to write. They don't need the extra help. Okay. Then exit information. This is what I usually put on exit information. I like to add in what did you learn? Then I like to, you can also, if you hit this right here, see this little guy right here, this will duplicate the question. So boom, I want to say, what did you learn? What was the most helpful part of the lesson? This helps you learn as a teacher. And remember, once you build this template for one class, either, duplicating the one I showed you at the beginning, linked in my Instagram bio, or using this one, or using one that you created from scratch and then just duplicating it each lesson, you won't have to do your intro and outro stuff ever again. You've already got that built. And so you'll just be filling in and changing the stuff in the middle. So what was the most helpful part of the lesson? I'm just gathering information so that I can learn from my students, because we always want to learn and grow as educators, not just make our students learn and grow as students. And then I would do another number scale. So I'm going to add a question. I'm going to make this a linear scale. How much do you know about slope now? Okay. I would actually put this information now, because that way you don't have to go in and change that word every time you duplicate this template. Still nothing. And then say all of it, whatever. Okay. And then they'll be able to submit. Then I can just go in here and I can hit send. I can take this link and I can copy it, and then I can paste it in Google Classroom. Or if you wanted, you could just go directly into Classroom, hit create assignment. And this would be lesson 1.7 slope. Click on the, let's say, I always like to give them very clear instructions. Click on the form linked, and then you would say complete the lesson, the full lesson, and I would say for a grade. And then I'd go to 3, which would be come back here and submit assignment. Okay, you don't want them to forget to do that, because that's the easiest way for you to check and make sure they did it. How many points? This is important. You need to make it worth the amount of points that you put in the form. We only did 2 10-point questions, so this is worth 20. Okay. Due date, I can choose that if I want. Topic, I can choose, whatever. I can create a topic. I can say this is week 4. Okay, date and time. We can pick a due date. Make it due next week. There we go. Now, I need to add the Google form to this. Don't just be like, go find it or blah, 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 or emailed it to you. Don't do that. Link it in here directly. I could paste the link that I just got, or I can just go to my Google Drive, because that's where I created it. It's going to link to it automatically. I can select it, hit insert, boom. Okay, now see this? I've got grade importing. I've got it turned on automatically. I automatically want it to pull the grades from the form and put it into Google Classroom. I'm going to hit assign. Now all of my students will get this assignment. So they'll go in, they can click on it, they'll click on this, and they can take this slope lesson. That's how you create an entire lesson from a Google form.
What up, Tyler again. Wow, how you guys feeling? Y'all good? You good? Are you good? Okay, in the chat, this is what I want you to do. In the chat right now, I want you to tell me, what was your college major? And if you're still in college, you want to be a teacher, or you're just here to learn and grow, I want you to tell me in the chat, what was your major in college? Okay, tell me what was your major in college, and then what do you actually teach now? Are they related? You don't have to, just tell me where you went to college. I'd love to see, throw it in there. We're gonna say, if you see somebody that has the same one, reply to them, give them some knuckle bumps or high fives or thumbs up or peace signs, whatever it is, smiley face. That's my best emoji, smiley face, like that.
toss that in the chat, and let's just talk about where we went to college. And the reason I bring that up is I'm actually the dean of a college. It's called NLC College. It is a partnership with Arkansas Baptist College and New Life Church. It's where we use the New Life Church facilities, and students can come and get an actual degree, associate's or bachelor's degree in business administration or Christian education. They can get those degrees from Arkansas Baptist College, located at NLC, so we call it NLC College. So if you know any students that are interested in maybe attending, if you'd like to hear more about it, hit me up. I'm gonna leave the link on there to the website. Also, the Instagram handle gonna be on there if you wanna check it out. Follow us on Instagram at NLC College. But I can tell you about it, but I'd love for my students to tell you about it. So here are some thoughts about NLC College, which I love and I'm a part of. I'm a dean of NLC College, so of course I love it. I wouldn't be there. So if you want to check it out, let's see what they have to say. I'm gonna be low key, for real. These are some of the best students on the planet. These young people, they're straight up, they're world changers. I mean that. And I care a lot about them, and I think they're fantastic. And I'd love for you to hear from them about the school that they attend, NLC College.
I go to NLC College, and two things that I miss about it there are the people whom I miss and I love very much, and the intramural sports, specifically volleyball.
Okay, so if you don't know this, I go to NLC College, and my number one favorite thing about the school is the community. I've met some of my best friends there that I have for life, and my second favorite thing is serving at events with the school and putting on preview day.
What's up, guys? You know, something I love about NLC College is all the free coffee and coffee mugs that they give you.
Hey guys, I just finished my first year at NLC College, and there's two things that I really, really miss. One being just the family aspect of the school, and two, chapel. I miss worshiping with my friends.
What's up, everyone? I want to get on here real quick and tell you all about why my college, NLC College, is the best school ever for two reasons in particular. One, the community I've been able to be a part of, and two, the opportunities that have opened up for me since I've been going to school there.
Y'all, I just finished my first year at NLC College, and it was absolutely incredible. I already miss our weekly leadership development classes and just getting to be up at the church all day, every day.
Hello. I go to NLC College. I love it because JK, I do go to NLC College, but two things that I love about it is one, you're always held accountable, and two, everyone in the community pushes you to be the absolute best you can be.
What's up, New Life Church and NLC College? Something that I love about my college that I go to is how we have a community of people who are all like-minded with the same goal, and how they've given me the tools to grow and develop myself as well as my business. Shameless plug.
Guys, I just want to hop on here and talk about my school. I'm sad that it's my last year at NLC College, but I'm thankful for everything that I've learned, like how to live life right and by the Bible, and definitely I love Dr. Q's jokes.
What is up, guys? So if you didn't know, I just finished my first year at New Life Church College, and by far my favorite things about it are one, the community of people that you're surrounded by, and two, all the free time you get to do the things you're passionate about and just to hang out with all of your best friends all the time.
So one thing that I love about New Life College is that it didn't slow me down from doing what I wanted to do with my life, which was music. It actually supported me. New Life College feels less like a school, more like a family to me. So yeah, that's one of the main things that I love about the school.
Hey guys, I'm here to share two fantastic things about NLC College. So one is the community that you get when you go to NLC College, and then how caring the professors are about you and your grade.
Hey, what up, everybody? I wanted to let you know a little bit about NLC College, the school I go to. I'm gonna tag them here so you can go to their page. But one, if you're even thinking about going there, please sign up for housing. It's such an amazing experience. And two, the community there is like none other. They're all...
Things I like about NLC College is Tyler Tarver, he's the best. And number two is that it's affordable. So, because I'm gonna be broke, and or I am broke, but that don't make me too broke. You feel me?
Okay, hey guys, I go to NLC College, and the number one favorite thing I love about that school is the community. I made friends there that I'll have for life. I'm zooming in. Why?
All right, so we've talked through a lot of the resources, ways to use it as a lesson in your class. We've gotten the chance to look at branching when it comes to Google Forms. And the thing we want to end with is I want to give you a practical resource and walk through how you can use it to improve your classroom. Some of you guys are like, you know what? I've got a program, or I'd rather not do a Google form that does like the test. I think you should, but if not, that's fine. Hopefully you're going to try it. Don't try it. Don't knock it till you try it. And so what I want you to do is try that. But here's something that I think all of us can use. And this is a template I'm gonna give you that I'm gonna walk through everything on. You're gonna make a copy. Remember, I won't have access to it. This is a Google Forms discipline form for students. Now, I've got multiple of these. I've got a positive action form. I've got this discipline form. I've got a student reported discipline form. The one I'm gonna show you next is just your general discipline form. Do not take it like I give this to you. I want you to go in, edit it, change it, adapt it to fit your constituents, your students, your school. Now, if you're an administrator, you should have this form and send it out to all your teachers, and they all fill it out, and it sends you all that information. Now, I'm gonna go more into that on my Google for Administrators training that we do this summer, but this is a great intro to that for you to use this for your entire building. If you are a teacher and you're like, well, I don't handle discipline for the whole building, golly gee, well, I don't know why I use that voice. So you might not use it for the whole building. You, as somebody who is a teacher and an administrator, you need to have a discipline form for your class. Even if you never send the students to the principal, it is good to document the discipline that happens in your class. Because if you are sitting there and you're, talking to, a student that's, you're having to give verbal warnings constantly every day for 3 or 4 weeks, and then you finally send them to the principal, or you're trying to call the parent to tell them about it, they're gonna ask, well, you're mad about that one little thing. You're like, no, it was a bunch of little things every day for a long period of time, okay? So you need to document what's happening in your classroom, positive and negative. And so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go through this entire form setup, get the template, tarveracademy.com, go to the link for this session and get that template. I'm also gonna show you how to get to it if you need to go to it right now if you don't have it already. You need to have a discipline form for your class. So just check the calendar to see when we're doing the intermediate. If you wanna take this and build off of this, or maybe this was too basic for you and you wanna grow from this, check in at tarveracademy.com and see when we're offering a free one, or if your district or your co-op signed up for the premium stuff, you can do that. And if you're like, well, I'd rather just do it and sign up for the premium, Tarver Academy on a roll. We got your back. Okay, so we're about to roll into the last part. Remember, this is a discipline form for Google Forms, and you're gonna build and work on yours as we do this, because I want you to walk away with something you can use every day in your class. So this is it. This is the one you can use. All right, let's do it. Today, we're going through this classroom discipline form. If you don't have one of these, I'm going to show you a template, give you a template, walk you through the whole process from making a copy of it all the way to editing it to fit your class, and also talk through some of the benefits of using it and to show you some of the results you get when you use it for a full year. Now, if your principal does not use this, I would recommend sending your principal this link, because they need to be using something like this. If they pay for a program, that's fine. Some people like to pay for programs for this stuff, but either way, they should be using. If they're using those triplicate forms, those white, yellow, pink forms that I used to use when I first became a principal, don't use those. They're expensive and they don't give you the kind of data that this gives you. So I used to, when I was a principal, I gave this out to all of my teachers, and it gave us really good data that we could use to make changes, to make our school better, to help our teachers, to help our students. But also, even if your principal doesn't have one of these, you need one of these for your class. It is something you need to have as extra documentation. If you have a list of student discipline issues and you walk into a parent-teacher conference, you can hand this over to the parents and be like, hey, here's a list of things that your student did. You can send it to them once a week, once every 9 weeks, once a semester, or never. It's just documentation for you to have proof of whenever students act up in your class. Now, that's for parents. For principals, as someone who's been a teacher and someone who's been a principal or administrator, what I recommend is, because if little Johnny is in your class and little Johnny's acting up a little bit every day, it's a little bit every day. It's not enough to be like, oh, send him to the office. It's just like you're verbally correcting him or you're guiding him and he's still acting up. And then after 3 weeks, little Johnny clicks a pen, does that. And then you're like, that's it, little Johnny, go to the office. And you send him to the principal's office. As a principal, when little Johnny comes in there, I'm like, what did you do? And he's like, I was clicking a pen. I'm like, that's it? He's like, yeah, I was just clicking a pen. He's not going to tell me the full story. He's not going to say that he was pushing your buttons. Get it? Pushing your buttons? He's not going to say he was pushing your buttons for 3 weeks every single day. He's going to talk about the last thing that got him sent there. But if you have your own classroom discipline form, you could just sort by his name, copy, paste in an email, send it to the principal. You have to have context to give your principal so that they can follow through in a way that makes sense to you. I've had so many teachers, I've seen it when I was a principal and when I was at central office happening to other principals, teachers that get frustrated because they have the context of every day for 45 minutes with this young student who's acting up. And then when they send it to the principal only has the last incident that got them sent there. So having this is something that gives context to your principal for anything that you need. So I'm going to walk you through getting the template. That's what we're going to do first. And then I'm going to walk through the template showing you changes you should make. So if you want, pause this video, walk through building that template as you go, okay? Build it, pause it, walk through each step with me, change it to fit your class. And then I'll show you how to put it and make it an easily accessible for you and reporting on your students. Okay, so let's make this screen bigger, make me smaller. All right, so I'm at tarveracademy.com and I'm going to click on resources. So tarveracademy.com, click on resources. It's also linked in my Instagram bio if you want to go to my Instagram. So we're going to roll down to classroom discipline form. Okay, now as soon as we get done with this will be over here under the walkthrough. Classroom discipline form. It is going to automatically prompt you to make a copy of this. You want to make a copy, all right? Once you do this, I do not have access. Even though I made this entire thing, I do not have access to this after you make a copy, okay? Now, you're going to need to be signed into Google because it's going to put it in your Google Drive, all right? Look up here in the upper right. That's the account that it went into. Make sure that's what you want. Okay. So this is a template. So we're going to go up here and we're going to title it first off, and you can title it whatever, Mr. Tarver's Classroom Discipline. That's shouldn't have that. Okay, Mr. Tarver's Classroom Discipline. Excellent. Now, I've got a little header on here. You can change this if you want. You could go up here to this little custom theme. You see this customized theme and click on that. That's going to give you the option. You can delete mine or you can leave it. It kind of hurts my feelings, but it's fine. It's whatever. You can change the theme color. You could upload your own photo. You can do whatever you want, okay? Listen to your heart here. You can even change the font. Like it goes basic. You can go fancy. Oh, wow, look how fancy. Formal, hello, welcome to, I don't know what British is formal. And then playful. So your choice, I'm gonna go basic. And then I'm gonna click this X to get out of here, okay? You can delete this. That's just me telling you to make a copy of it because used to I couldn't force make a copy. Now it does. Now, for student name, I would not recommend having to type in the student's name every single time. I'm assuming that you got the Google form template that I gave you first of the year that is getting to know your students. If not, it is on that same resources page that I just showed you, tarveracademy.com/resources. You need to do that to get information about your students so that you can quickly do what I'm about to show you. So we want to put all the students' names in because we want to choose from a drop-down list. The reason is because if we ever misspell it or the spacing's wrong or whatever, whenever we put their names in, or if they have a nickname and they have a regular name, we end up putting different ones. We want to select from the same list because that's going to give us better data attached to each student. So I'm going to go to a list where I have student names. I'm going to click on the top one. Okay, I clicked on it and I let go. Pause if you need to, if I go too fast. Click on the top name. Hold the shift button. Now click on the bottom name. What that does is when you click something, hold shift and you click something else, it selects everything in between. Now I've got those all selected. Now I want to copy it. So if you're on a Mac, it's Command C. If you're on any other device, it's Control C. Okay, that's copy. Now I'm going to go back over here to my form and I'm going to change this to a drop down. And then I'm going to select the top option. Now I'm going to hit, if I'm on a Mac, I'm going to hit Command V, which is paste. If you're on anything else, it's Control V. Okay, so Command C is copy, Command V is paste. If you're on anything else besides a Mac, Control C is copy, Control V is paste. A lot of people don't know what the V stands for. It's like, why isn't it Control P? Control P is print. V stands for view. You are viewing what you copied. Okay, so what that does is that copy pastes all the names of my students into this drop down. Now, you're gonna wanna do that. Do not skip that part, okay? Pause this and go do that. And then you can rewind it if you need to. Do you like how I have all Harry Potter character names except for like Jeff Goldblum? He's just like chilling. He like left Jurassic Park and went to Hogwarts. Okay, now after that, I've got it set up where it's grade. You can put this on there. If it's always the same grade, you don't have to put this on there. But if you teach multiple grades, it doesn't hurt to have it on there. And you could always delete certain ones. You could add, other grades if you need to. To add a grade, you select one, hit enter, and it's going to be able to add another grade. Okay. Then date of incident. Now, here's the deal. If you fill this Google form out immediately after it happens every time, you don't have to do this part. You can delete this by hitting that trash can. Because what it does is this timestamps every single entry that you have. That allows you to, it allows it to tag whenever you submitted it. Now, we don't always get the chance to submit them all immediately after they happen. Sometimes where it happens, we verbally correct somebody, and then we have to do something else. And then it's like 2 hours later or the next day, we remember and we go back. So date of incident, this is where you would select it and it's set up for you. Class period. I would cut out anything like, say I don't teach fourth and fifth, like I've got a prep and sports or something. I don't know. You can select it. You can title them. You could say third, geometry if you want. You could title them however fits your class the best. Okay. And you might even delete that altogether if it like you don't have class periods. You just want to put when it happened. When I was a principal, I had different teacher names in here. You could delete this whole thing because you're the only teacher that sees this. Now, if you share this with your entire team, which is not a bad idea, if you have like, say you're third grade and your students rotate classes, it would not be a bad idea to be all in the same one. That way, like say little Johnny acts up in my class at the first part of the day, and then I send him to you. It's almost like he gets a brand new, a fresh slate. Is that what it's called? Clean slate. He gets a clean slate. How did I not know that? I'm so sorry. He gets a clean slate with the next teacher and starts over. This way you guys could get a heads up and see if somebody was acting up class after class. So also, if this is just for you, I would delete this section right here. Now, behavior. This one is one you might have to go in and do some corrections on, okay? With behavior, I took this directly from my student handbook. So all of these situations, all of these are worded exactly like the student handbook. So whenever my teachers filled it out, I automatically knew where to tag that in the handbook. I would recommend going through your handbook and matching this up exactly with however it is. It might take you some time, but it's going to be worth it because when you send it off to your principal, they'll know how to classify what it is the student did. Okay. Excellent. Now, this next section, you can delete it if you want, but I think you should keep it. Also, I want to tell you why I did checkboxes here, because sometimes if a student like stands up and then they're mean to a kid, and they're picking on them and then they cuss, that's two things. They're bullying and they were cursing. So that's two. Checkboxes right here allow you to select more than one option. So that's why, because sometimes most of the time it's more than one option. Okay, next section. You can delete this if you want, but I think it is very important to include positive behavior for students. And here's why. If I'm sitting down as a teacher with a parent and I'm talking about these 20 things their kid did wrong throughout the year, that a lot of times parents can see that as it's either demoralizing or they're going to say, well, you ignore all the good stuff my kid does. If you mark a few times a year that they did something positive, that shows that you actually notice when they do something good. So if I had 15 bad things, but 2 good things, those 15 bad, when I try to correct that, is going to go a lot further with parents than just like, oh, I'd only see the bad stuff your kid did. No, I saw when they were a leader. I saw when they were active listener. Like you can add and subtract things out of here. Also, I have a Google form that is just set apart, like it's a template for you guys. It's called positive behavior. It's like this, but it's only set up for positive behavior. And I've got like a list of a bunch of positive behaviors. So if you want that, you can have it, or you can combine them into the same form. So it's your call, but that template is on tarveracademy.com/resources. You can make a copy of it right now. Okay. Teacher intervention. What did you do? This is the one you're going to use most of the time is verbal warning. That's one reason I say if you're going to use this for your class, make this as compact as possible, because the longer this form is, the less you're going to want to fill it out for like a verbal warning. Or you're like, it's just a verbal warning. Those are things you need to you need to mark. And this might change too if you're doing like a hybrid or a virtual class. You might have to mix this up a little bit, okay? And then the last one, describe the incident. This is where the only part where you have to do any writing really is right here where you're describing what happened. If you make this like an app on your phone where you can just click it and fill it out, that's pretty easy to do. And you just click on that and then you can just do voice. Okay? You can talk and let Siri do it. I always try to think of what's the most efficient way to do this stuff, because I know like you're thinking, well, I'm not required to do classroom discipline. I know it could help me, but I'm not required to do it. I have a lot of extra time. I try to make this as quick as possible for you to be able to, monitor your classes and document what's happening. Okay. And then after that, you're done. So it would look like this. Y'all see what I did? I hit the little eyeball. That's your preview. And so I go here, and this is where I can choose my student from drop down. I can choose what grade they're in, date of the incident. I will go through and pick all this stuff that I need to pick. Okay, excellent. I don't know why I clicked that. I didn't do positive and negative. Describe your answer, blah, 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 and then I would hit submit. Okay, so that's it. Now, here's the thing. You need an easy way to access this. I'm going to show you 2 ways to make this super accessible for you for your class. The first way is I'm going to hit refresh so I can clear this out. Okay, so I'm on my Google form. I want to hit this star. Do y'all see the star up here at the far right of your address bar? They call it an omnibox, but I'm going to click that and I'm going to add it to my bookmarks bar. That is going to be right here. So anytime I'm out here and I'm just like hanging out with all my stuff, I can click on this discipline, boom, and it pulls it up directly and I can fill it out. Okay, and so that's the quick way to do it. You can also, and I can't show you my whole screen, you can't see it. Actually, I guess I could. Watch this. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to tell you how to do it. It's super easy. You highlight the address, you click that, and you see, I don't know if you can see that, but you would click and drag that to your desktop and let go. It would then create a little icon and a quick link to this on the desktop of your computer. And if you need that, just like text me to that number right here. Text that number and say, hey, I don't know how to do that, or could you walk me through it? I made a video on this and I can text you the video if you just text that number and say, hey, can you give me the video on how to put it on my desktop? And I will do it and you're good to go. Okay, so you created the discipline form. Now I want to show you some of the benefits of doing this. Now I'm going to use some data from when I was a principal, but I'm not going to show any student names. Okay, so I've scrolled down past the student names. So in 1 year, we had 609 incidents. Okay, that's everything from verbal warning to everything. So out of all the students, we had 609. We get a breakdown right here. I was principal of 6th through 12th grade. Look at this. My 9th grade was over a third of my incidents for the whole year. Out of 7 grades, 9th grade was 1/3 of them. Okay, so what we did was we used this data because 9th graders lose their stinking minds when they get to high school. And so we used this data and went to the school board and we were like, hey, 9th graders, it's a transition year. It's very important. All their grades count towards their GPA. And this is where we're having the most discipline issues. We need to have either a 9th grade academy or we need to get a counselor who can focus on 9th graders and really work with them and getting through this year. And that's what we did. It was able to be data that we could use to verify to our school board that we need to move forward with this. And you can actually use this information and copy the chart. So you just hit this and copy the chart, and then you could paste it into, watch this. This is really cool. So when we did this, we built out like this entire presentation, and we were able to put it into like a Google Doc. So watch this. So if I hit new Google Doc, and then I could title it something like the case for 9th graders. And I could hit paste because I just copied it. And it's going to paste that whole chart in there. Give it a second. It's loading up. Don't quit on me. There it is. See? And it copies that chart and pastes it in there. I used to have to do this when I would do these reports. I would screenshot those and then have to drag them in. Now just copy paste. They've made it super easy to do that. Okay. Now we could go in here and look at dates of incidents. Like this is whenever they were most reported. We could look over here, April. Look at that. There were what is that? On April 28th, there were 15 instances, by far the most out of all the days we had. I could look here and say okay, most of our incidents happen in April, right here, this chunk right here. Why is that? Well, we just got done with 3 weeks worth of testing. Everybody's sick of everybody's face. Maybe we could do like a snow day on that day so we can all get a break, a 3-day weekend. Class period's happening right here. Second period was a majority of our issues. So you know what we did? We incorporated a grab and go breakfast after first period. Students weren't eating breakfast. They were getting agitated on second period. So we took the first 10 minutes of second period. That allowed them to eat, hang out with their teachers, build rapport. And we know that whenever students have a connection with the teacher, we see less issues in those classes. So we are using all of this data to make ourselves better. So if I know in Arkansas, they use TESS, TESS, to do like their teacher evaluation systems. And so this data, you could look at this and be like, okay, I need to do this, this, and this professional development to get better because, this is the areas I'm obviously struggling with. Teacher's name. Smith is a great teacher. We had him on there because he had some of our students that struggle a little bit more. Okay. Also, I want to point out, I know this says weapons violation. It says 140, that we had 0 weapons violations. This 140 is trying to sleep in class. That is a majority of what we had issues with. So there were a lot of verbal warnings trying to get students to focus. But we could use all this stuff. Like we looked on it and we saw that we had a huge chunk of cell phone. We had a no cell phone policy. We had a lot of issues with cell phones. So we're like, okay, well, let's try some stuff. So we actually told the students for 9 weeks, we're going to allow you to have your cell phone in between classes and at lunch and give it a shot. Like you just have to stay off it during class period. And if this goes down, these issues go down, we'll let you keep using it. And they did. And it was a great thing that we could try. So it allows you to try things based on data. A lot of verbal warnings. I could see how many chances we're giving, what that looks like. And you can actually get even more data out of this if you run individualized reports. Okay. I would scroll up and show you those, but it might show you students' names, and I don't want to do that. Okay. So that is a walkthrough of the classroom discipline forum. I hope this helped. I hope it gave you some clarity on things you could do in your class to record and document. That's the thing. The key with this is you need to have documentation for students, especially if it's virtual. You need to have like a quick, I can fill this out during class if a student's not paying attention, or if I like say they have their camera turned off, which is fine in a lot of situations based on whatever the student's needs are. But if they have their camera turned off and I call on them and they're not responding, it means that they've stepped away or they're not listening. And so that's something you could report on here. So it gives you data. That's the thing, guys. You've got to have documentation as teachers. I know this from principal and a central office administrator. I need documentation when you bring me stuff. It goes so much further instead of like, well, he did this or he did this or she did this or she did this. You need documentation, guys. It's super important.
We did it. We did it. We learned something. Did you learn something today? In the chat, I want you to put the thing that you are taking away from today. Put one thing in the chat right now that you have learned or that you have realized or that's reinforced something you think. Put that one that I like to call this the golden nugget. Put the golden nugget from today in the chat. And that way, if somebody's missed it or they checked in, go ahead and you guys can copy paste what other people put. If there's some advice, you can screenshot it. Get this. I want you to throw in the best thing you learned today. It's like a best of highlight reel for your favorite thing that happened during this training. Toss that in the chat right now so we can share and grow together. Okay, we're about to do the evaluation. Before we do, I want to remind you, if you want access to this entire training at any time throughout the year, not just these live broadcasts, you can join the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. Why'd I do this? Hey guys, Tarver Academy Honor Roll. It's like Netflix for teachers. Netflix for teachers, because you have resources, you have templates, you have PDs, trainings. It's literally like a library of trainings, and then access to ask questions, to request resources that I build and send out to teachers all around the world. So tarveracademy.com/honor roll if you want to join the greatest community on the planet. And I'm not biased at all. I mean, all of us, you're on the honor roll. You want to be on the honor roll? Sick. Let's all be on the honor roll. And I'm a dean, so keep me on the dean's list. Hey, that works. Okay. All right. Now it's time for your evaluation. I'd love to get your thoughts on what you thought for this, but also I'm going to send you a certificate saying that you sat through this training. You put in the time. You wanted to learn. You wanted to grow. You wanted to get better. This is going to be a certificate that I'm going to email to you. What I need you to do is I need you to go to the link on the screen or hover over the QR code with your phone. Get your phone out, hover over it. It's going to ask you a few questions. If you don't get this, it means that you put your email address in wrong. Make sure, please do not rush this. Type your email address in correctly. Please, I'm begging you, because if not, you're gonna email me, I never got my certificate. It's because your email address is wrong. Type in your email address correctly, fill it out, fill out your name, make sure you capitalize, make it look good, because it's gonna fill into the certificate from this. So I need you to put this in correctly, please.
Okay, go there. We're gonna walk you through it. Go into this, click on the link, or you can't click on the link because it's on a video. Type in the link on your computer or type it in on your phone or whatever device you have. Scan the QR code, fill it out. I'm gonna send you a certificate with a timestamp on it saying what time you ended. You have proof from earlier if you sent in to the other link of what time you started. And then you also got your notes and all the stuff you've learned, your screenshots, all of that to show your administrator or whoever, your spouse, you show your friends, show people on the streets, all the learning that you did. You can frame that certificate. I think we're all getting framed. You get a frame, I'm getting framed. I'm gonna put it up on my shelf. I got too much stuff on my shelf already. So look at this, Lonzo Ball rookie card. If you got any, by the way, you got any basketball cards you wanna sell, hit me up. I've been slightly obsessed with basketball cards and I apologize for bringing it up. Look at this, this is all Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, he's the GOAT. Everybody says it. Who's in the chat? Who is your favorite basketball player of all time? I'd love to know. If it was Lonzo Ball, it's quite the coincidence because I had it sitting on my desk. If not, it's probably this guy. Probably this guy right here. See that guy? That's Michael Jordan. No big deal. It's whatever. Don't like to brag about it. It's not that expensive, that card. But if you got any cards you want to sell, holler at me. I don't know why I said that. I'm just stalling so you guys can fill out your evaluation. All right. Y'all feel good? I'm gonna leave this on the screen for you for a little while in case you had to step out for a second. I'm gonna leave this up. Thank you again so much for your attention and your time and everything that you put into learning and growing with us today. I'm Tyler, this is Tarver Academy. Let's learn and have fun. See you guys later.